මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය Ooredooගේ M-Pesa මෙදුරිකෝ PayPalගේ හිටුමේ මිහාරු ගොඩන්නවන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය Ooredooගේ M-Pesa මෙදුරිකෝ PayPalගේ හිටුමේ මිහාරු ගොඩන්නවන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය Ooredooගේ M-Pesa මෙදුරිකෝ PayPalගේ හිටුමේ මිහාරු ගොඩන්නවන් දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය Ooredooගේ M-Pesa මෙදුරිකෝ PayPalගේ හිටුමේ මිහාරු ලිපඩන්නවන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය Ooredooගේ M-Pesa මෙදුරිකෝ PayPalගේ හිටුමේ මිහාරු ලිපඩන්නවන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය Ooredooගේ M-Pesa මෙදුරිකෝ PayPalගේ හිටුමේ මිහාරු ලිපඩන්නවන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ගොඩැන්නුවන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ගොඩැන්නුවන්
And we are back once again for the grand finals of our Ooredoo Nation Gamers Land Esports Contender Series Season 3. This is still PUBG. Yesterday we had our semifinals and now we have the final list of our finalists. Oh my goodness. That was a wordplay. I'm so sorry. But I we will have our grand finals tonight. And of course, it's gonna be a little bit different from our group stages, and it's also going to be a little different from our semifinals. We will have 6 matches instead, and we have a couple of days to run our grand finals, and so it makes things a little bit more exciting. But on the other hand, it will also match up with the official tournaments. Maps, schedules, and everything. And there we have it. We're going to be starting off with Rondo, and finally, we will be seeing our very first Rondo map with 2 flight paths. Finally, the 3 group stages and the 1 semifinals only had 1. I don't know why, but finally we have been graced by the game's RNG with 2 flight paths. One is going from south to north, and the one is going northwest to like a little bit of northeast with a slight angle. But there we have it. We're just going to be dropping off our players into their favorite drop off points. And as you can see, actually, Stadium is very much accessible. Neox Factory is also going to be very accessible. Danching a little bit far off. Rinxiang looks like none of the players are really landing there just yet, but I know stadium is currently a hotspot, and that's exactly what's usually happening in Rondo. You're gonna expect that teams will go for the hotspots and try to get as much aggression as possible and try to get as much eliminations as early on as possible, as long as you have one player as an anchor, some other part of the map with a recall tower, then you will be fine. And that's exactly what's happening right now. You can see some scattered players all alone in the outskirts of the main areas of the map, and they're just gonna be staying there, making sure that their team doesn't get picked off in this Rono map. And you can see we have a couple of knockdowns, we have some confirmations, some eliminations already, but we're not going to be worrying about that too much. We can enjoy the kill feed, but on that part, you can see that the guns are still like SMGs and everything, whatever they can find on the floor in such a short amount of time, in such a short notice. That's because it's still early game engagement territory. People aren't getting good guns yet. It's all about who like manages to get the better guns in this moment in time. As you can see, they're like Uzis and everything. Some people are lucky; they have better guns. They got AKs, and sometimes they got the GBSs. But okay, there we have it. Chubby's just peeking into the window, and there's two players from E2S7s already going down into the ground, and we're kind of just watching out for maybe a full team squad wipeout. And as of this moment, the teams are very, very nicely anchoring themselves to the map. We're not seeing any full squad wipeout yet, and everyone's just recalling as they are getting eliminated as well. We're not worried too much. Look at Hisham going down to the ground, and once again, we are still not worried. They're still trying to rack off points. Game over, going the same way, and it looks like just from the leaderboards, still most teams, if not all, are still alive. 16 teams, 3 minutes into the game. We're gonna expect maybe until a minute number 8 we'll be seeing this sort of energy from our players. Once again, guys, this is the grand finals for our esports contender series. We have the best of the best playing tonight, and as you can see, we got the teams that qualified in the group stages for the finals directly, and we also have the teams that qualified through the semifinals. And there are just so many really big names tonight in the Maldives scene. As you can see, we got the SDMZ, we have Syndicate, we have LHC, we got Leons, etc. They're all pretty good. Lovins did really well yesterday, and as of this moment, yes, Lovins is still riding their momentum from yesterday. They have 3 eliminations already. Of course, FTR is doing well with the 4 eliminations. OPZ, SDMZ, as expected, such great teams. They got 3 eliminations early on, but as you can watch from the leaderboards, you can see the behavior for some teams are pretty consistent with what we've seen from the group stages. For example, Seal 7, I'm going to assume, is going to play really carefully. Usually they don't peek out until maybe late game. Usually they like to prioritize staying alive. So that's exactly what they're going to be happening. So it's fine. And we'll be we'll be keeping watch because yeah, there are some teams that lost a lot of players, but then again, 5 minutes into the game, we should still be seeing a lot of recall towers still available, although maybe some recall towers are already in the blue zone. We're not worrying too much about that. The teams could risk just staying in the blue zone just a little bit longer, and risk getting a little bit more aggressive just so that they get as much points as possible in Rondo. And as I believe there should be just one Rondo map for each day in the grand finals. I'm pretty sure there should be 3 days in the ECS grand finals, and each day has one rondo, and the teams have exactly one chance per day to get this aggressive. It's just a largely different play style from Erangel and Miramar, because you can go haywire. Basically, in Rondo, you don't have to worry too much about keeping yourself alive. As long as your team stays alive, you can go as aggressive as possible, get as much points as possible, and then don't worry too much about staying alive. As long as you have one player who's staying in the sidelines with the recall tower in hand, they can save you after maybe making mistakes. It's like, I guess the biggest mistake that you can give is like giving elimination points to your opponents, but with high risk comes high reward, and so that's what some teams are going to be thinking about, whether they're going to prioritize getting engagements or they'll prioritize um basically staying alive. But okay, we got a couple more engagements happening, as we can see from our kill feed. We're not worrying too much once again. What we will be worried about is if that number on the team statistics will go down. I'm gonna expect there should be 16 teams consistently until maybe minute number 12 generously, and then after that we won't be too surprised, um we won't be too concerned anymore, because we will be understandably thinking that some of these teams probably can't access recall towers anymore. Either it's because the recall towers, the numbers have dwindled already, or maybe it's getting gate kept, and the available recall towers are being like way too deep into the blue zone. The blue zone is like taking damage a little bit harder than you want it to. But okay, looks like 16 teams in. We are in minute 8. The aggression has simmered down, and we're still seeing a couple more aggressions, a couple more we're seeing a couple more potential kills that's going to be happening. As of right now, we're looking at Syndicate going up against just exactly one player from NRS. This is the behavior that I've been seeing from NRS like so far. They have like split pushes, like literally solo plays from some players, and then whenever they see like some sort of interesting thing happening from their like one of their players perspective, that's when they call their teammates. But as of this moment, looks like Syndicate, they took care of NRS really, really quickly, and NRS is actually going to be the first team that'll be going down, and that will be our first casualty. Unfortunately, NRS did not get any eliminations for this map. And okay, we got our next phase of the circle. It's gonna close into where Fengtun and Lanpo is going to be. We can see that there are about 2 recall towers, 3 if you count the one that's just shy outside of the borders. It's still accessible. I'm sure for the stage 3 circle we can risk a little bit of damage done just to have your teammates recalled. So that's one of the things that the teams should be thinking about, and they should also think about how there are 15 teams left and then there are only 3 recall towers available in this situation. But okay, we got Syndicate and Game Over. Game Over has been rotating into the area, and so this is going to be a hotspot for a lot of engagements. And by the way, once again, 2 or 3 recall towers left in this situation that's still accessible, and Lovins might be choosing to come around and try to get some aggressions, some eliminations for themselves as well. Okay, we got a bit of grenade action happening. Lucy almost went into the ground. It's a good thing that they have a little bit of health left. Okay, Game Over Esports. There should be one person there, but the angle was just not working in the suit's favor. So we'll have to keep a watch. Suit, you got the grenade cooking. Lovins, by the way, third party this situation. Syndicate is still within the game. It looks like Ayu is gonna be going right into the ground. Nice shot, nice grenade throw coming in from Game Over Esports. Looks like Lovitz is at a distance, and Spider goes down by the hands of 7X. We can still go ahead and revive. Suit and Spider can still be saved. The question is, where is Syndicate? Okay, Syndicate can still be saved as well. Looks like Rio Day goes down into the ground. Elon's gonna be giving those long range shots coming in, and 7X will be going on to the front lines, and now there's one Rio Day going down into the ground. Spider says game over as well. That's 2 eliminations, and Lovins coming in with their momentum still from yesterday, coming in hot. They have 8, 9 eliminations. Could be 10 once 7X gets finished off completely. No, rather 7X is part of Lovins. I'm so sorry, but there we have it. Game over is over. Unfortunately, we have 14 teams left, and Lovins has 10 eliminations. That's absolutely crazy. And Syndicate managed to get away just in time from this shenanigans. And, well, just peeking at the leaderboards, DMT, I'm a little bit worried. I don't know if they can still access the recall tower that isn't on cooldown. So we're gonna keep watch for that. 12 minutes into the game, I think it's still very much accessible. It looks like Skyforce also ran into Syndicate, and Cloud just got ran over. Speaking of ran, yes, we got ran over in this situation. And Syndicate losing another player to the ground. Mad gets finished off as well. Anish, however, looks like a friendly fire from the fellow teammates. Must have been a grenade splash damage, but we're definitely hoping that they can still bounce back from that situation. SDMZ might be joining in the fray. Lovins, Skyforce, and SDMZ agent coming in as their frontliner and the vanguards. I'm trailing right behind them. I'm gonna presume the rest of their team is also gonna be closing in. OPX is nearby. So there could be a fourth party, there could be a fifth party from Fraternity as well. You can see on the northeastern part of our mini map, it's just quite a mess. We have to keep our eyes peeled in like 6 different directions in this situation. We're talking 13 teams still in our Rondo map. 13 minutes into the game, we got 47 players, and possibly we might be seeing a little bit more eliminations, rather a little bit more aggressions coming in. It hasn't simmered down, despite the fact that most of the, if not all of the recall towers are within the blue zone already. I don't think players will be risking stage 4 circle damage, but recall towers could be still a little bit close from where the play zone is. Maybe they can risk a couple more minutes of damage, making maybe they can still heal up. I don't know, who knows. But looks like we are down to 13 teams. Syndicate has said goodbye as well, and now we can finally hear a little bit more noise from our teams. SDMZ with a 6 elimination, Skyforce with the 6, FTR with 5, Syndicate unfortunately said goodbye with 4 eliminations, Game Over with 2, as we saw a while ago, NRS with 0, and still everyone else, we're counting the points, we're counting the elimination points. Still no placement points yet, we're still 13 teams in. Flanky finds 7X. Love and Solely gets taken down by Aman as well as DMG making their magic. We have another team elimination coming in. It's gonna be DMT, which I was worried about. They were like a solo player for the longest time around, and there was 0 eliminations on their side. But it's okay. We got we got like 17 maps left to go. This map is it's like a small percentage of the maps that we are going to be witnessing for this whole grand final, so I'm not going to be worrying about that too much. We're still low pressure, we're still completely low pressure, and if anything, some teams might probably be holding back as of this moment. They don't want to give too much away this early on. They don't want to give their new strategies too early on, but of course, as you can probably expect, you have to give it your all, as early as possible. As long as you, as much as possible, you have to get as much points as possible. We see another team wipeout. That's going to be fraternity with the 6 eliminations. It's a good start, but hopefully we see a little bit more points, a little bit more aggression from the teams that are still alive. Lovins is doing a really good job. In fact, 20, rather 10 eliminations on a rondo map is already pretty decent, of course. Plus, now I'm gonna assume plus some placement points, perhaps. 10 points could be a little bit more after that. But now, speaking of 10, we got 10 teams after 16 minutes, almost 17 minutes into the game. We got SDMZ climbing steadily. We got 9 eliminations for this wonderful, wonderful team. Skyforce still at 6, but I think they're trying to get their footing here. They still have 4 players left remaining, so they can still go absolutely haywire and try to overpower a lot of these teams. LHC on our screens. They have OPZ in their sights, in the crosshairs, and now we're just seeing a little bit of grenade action coming in from LHC, but there's a potential for third party, fourth party, fifth party, E2S7 can access this compound with mid-range guns, and so they have to these teams have to watch out for any potential kill steals that might happen. But here Hisham just hiding about. They have access to this window. Couple of shots here and there. White and IC just got picked off just now at the same time, roughly. And it looks like we got another elimination to several teams that are going to be saying goodbye quite early on. And now we are down to half of our teams. We got 26 players left remaining in this situation. As DMZ and Skyforce nearby, Anish is down on the ground. Might be a little bit nerve-wracking as DMZ does have a vehicle to give defenses with. It's like one player, Daim from SDMZ, will be going right into the ground. Anish follows up. Mighty from KH Tempo. I think there's something happening towards the eastern part of the map as well. But right now, we'll be focusing on our screens as DMZ just making their positioning well known. This is a really nice. They have a really nice boulder to hide behind. Sky, however, will have their grenades cooking, and Flanky will be ready for that. They're cooking their own grenade as well. Please don't take a couple of players. And we're seeing several players going down one after the other. In fact, there's 15 players left remaining. We got 5 teams left already, and you can see SDMZ does a really good job. They're coming in hot on our very first map for our grand finals. 15 eliminations and counting. They're still alive, but barely. They only have Flanky left, and as you can remember, Flanky is an amazing player. I'm hoping we're gonna be seeing at least one more elimination before this guy gets ganged up upon. As you can probably expect, Leons does have a huge numbers advantage. OPEX with a triple, and not rather for the trio, and KH, they could still be a trio depending on what their positioning looks like, because they have 2 knocked players. Lovitz and SDMZ, however, solo players could still probably have a chance to get that chicken dinner depending on how they play the cards right. KH, however, will be the first to go down. Kaiki will be finished off, and now all that's left is Leon versus OPEX versus Lovens and SDMZ. Possibly Leon's has the number advantage. They have the numbers game as of this moment, but as we all know, it doesn't matter if you have all the teammates in the world. As long as you play your cards right, some solo players could clutch those winner chicken dinners. But okay, we got fantastically making their shots, getting an elimination for themselves, and it looks like we have our first casualty in this situation. Lovin's gonna be saying goodbye. Now it's STMZ, Leons, and OPEX. Leons, they're steadily keeping themselves alive. They have great survivability. They're keeping their players, all 4 of them, still standing. OPEX, they're healing up well as well. OPEX has the slight advantage of having a building for themselves. Frankie gets caught up by Anu, and well, SDMZ still managed to see another day. And Flanky is the one who's like perhaps has a really good chance of moving into the play field, into the play zone. OPX and Leons might be having a little bit more of a hard time moving later on. We got a couple of seconds left to go before the stage 7 circle closes in. And after that stage 7 circle closes in, we have a stage 8 circle and then an all consuming circle where the blue zone just closes in and takes players one after the other. But all right, we got Frenzy trying to go up against the rest of OPEX. All right, we got some grenade action. We're seeing some splash damage here and there. That blue zone closes in and forcing the players to move. OPEX is ready for that. They're ready to take down Lovins, and that's exactly what's happening. Lovins has been wiped out, and as the MZ's flanky was waiting for this exact moment, and now that OPEX is still licking their wounds from their fight against Loving's Flanky, could take advantage of this situation. Look at Flanky. This is what I'm talking about. Flanky's an insane player. That's 10 eliminations for just one player. Some teams don't even have 10 eliminations yet, but this guy solo 10 eliminations. All right, we got the thumbs in. All right, one down. Rain goes down. Flanky half health. That was very nerve-wracking, and that's insane. That's what I'm talking about. Just because you're a solo player doesn't mean you can't get the chicken dinner. And as the MC, not only do they have double digits in the eliminations, they also have the chicken dinner. That's absolutely insane. That should be like at most 27, 28, or 29 total points from that game. It's absolutely insane. Flanky never disappoints. Flanky absolutely never disappoints. It's absolutely crazy. Now, what I really want to see is what our team stats are gonna look like after. SEMZ, yes, we saw that a lot of their players got picked off before the final standoff, and Frankie managed to solo OPX. And we'll just say OPX, yes, they have been weakened a bit from their fight from Lovins, but that's just part of strategy, you know. I think there was one down player from the start, so it was like a 2 versus 1, and a lot of their players maybe lacking resources already from the start, and Flanky was just being really, really patient. And we got Flanky with the 13 eliminations, Amon with 2, Agent with 4, Naeem with 1. That should make my goodness, my math is so bad. We should have about 20 total eliminations plus the 10 points from the placement points. That should make about 30 points, which is a really great start to our grand finals. As EMZ, if you noticed in their group stages, they were chilling. They weren't like giving it their um 100% firepower, yet they're conserving their energy. And right now they have such an explosive start to our grand finals. Coming up second is Lovins with 17 total points, which is still really great. Double O coming at third with 13 points, Leon's with 12, Skyforce with 10, KH Esports with 9, OPZ with 8, and RS LHC with 6, Fraternity with 6, Seal 7 has 4, Syndicate has 4, Double O, or rather, it's OPEX with the 13. Double O Esports has 2 points. Team NOS has 2. Game Over Esports has 2. Unfortunately, we got 3 teams that didn't get any points for this match. And we have the MVP. No question whatsoever. Flanky has 13 eliminations. This damage, the highest I've seen on an MVP in the group stages and semifinals, was like 1,100 damage. I believe, I could be wrong, could be higher in one of the games, but this is absolutely insane. 1,700. That's crazy. That sounds like an overall MVP sort of damage, actually, after maybe like 5 maps. But this guy did it in just one rondo map. It's absolutely insane. 13 eliminations. Some teams don't even have 13 points yet. But okay, we will be moving on to match number 2 as usual after a short break. So guys, do not go anywhere. Let's see you soon in a few minutes.
මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය Ooredooge M-Fasa meduriko PayPal ge hitme mihar libodannuwan මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය Ooredooge M-Fasa meduriko PayPal ge hitme mihar libodannuwan මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය Ooredooge M-Fasa meduriko PayPal ge hitme mihar libodannuwan දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිපඩැන්නවාන්. මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිපඩැන්නවාන්.
And we are back once again. We just witnessed match number one, which is Rondo with an amazing performance, and especially from SDMZ, having 30 points from our very first map for this grand finals. And once again, this is Ooredoo Nation Gamers Land Esports Contender Series Season 3. And this is very, very exciting. We're seeing a lot of very big going up against each other, and of course we're not wasting any time. We're going straight to Wrangle, our very favorite map, everyone's favorite map. Not really, but you know, it's the only map I play because I don't really like Miramar. But yes, we'll be starting off from the edge of the south eastern edge of the main island, going all the way to shooting range. I guess we can still call this Milta. I think the Milta power plant is within this place. But yes, these are the places that could probably be landed on. We got Novorepnoye, of course, is still very much accessible. They have to worry about getting into the bridge and going to the mainland. If ever the circle will be a main island late game, which is there's a huge chance, you know. It's very almost like uncommonly the circle will go to the military base just because of, you know, probability wise. But of course there are some places that are still accessible. We got shelter, we got Milta, of course, we rage straight from the flight path. We have farm, which is accessible. Primorsk, I believe, no, not Primorsko. What is this place? Prison. And Mancha, that looks like will be barren. Yasnaya Poliana is being avoided once again. We're seeing our very first circle. It's a good thing. It's very forgiving. It's at the eastern part of the map, and that's like mostly rather it's gonna be mostly in the main island, although there's a bit of Novorepnoye that's still within the first stage. But for sure from the second stage, that place is going to be excluded already, so they have to think about rotating maybe in minute 10, 11, unless they want to tank the damage just a little bit, especially since there's a potential for another game engagement. I did see two teams that landed in the same area, but that's okay. Novorepnoye is a huge place. They could also cross to the military base if ever they wanted to and loot that place instead. But nonetheless, yes, we will be starting off. We have KH and DO within this same place. You can see Scorpy. I'm a little bit concerned. I don't think they have a lot of ammo yet, and definitely the armor isn't so promising yet either. You can see Mighty is kind of choosing the best guns. They're like and thinking like, you know what, this is good enough, and they have 165 plus ammo, so they don't have to worry too much. But I'm worried about the healing kits, especially since there's only two healing kits. At least they're not mad bandages, but still, early game wise, you have to play it really, really safely, and you have to deal with your opponents as fast as possible. You don't want to get picked off too early on because you'll lose your chance of getting elimination and placement points in this map if ever you do. But okay, this is still 2 out of 18 matches, so we don't have to worry too much. I'm not sure what Cuckoo's doing. Hold on, what is Cuckoo doing? I think audio cues, perhaps. I'm trying to like rationalize what this guy is doing, but yeah, okay, we're trying to make audio cues for KH. I believe in KH, they're just peeking here, trying not to get tempted by what they can hear. But nonetheless, Scorpio, I mean, gun wise, they could go aggressive. The healing kits make me a little bit nervous, however. We got two grenades that they have to use very, very wisely. And here in Meltsaw, it might be they're a little bit constrained. So, in terms of having the advantage of going around and gathering resources, especially since I mean, rather, DO has landed in the same area. They don't want to get picked off, and it looks like both teams are actually the type of teams to wait it out, to play it safe. And so, yeah, that they'll have to deal with that really, really quickly. But okay, we got stage one circle closing in 4 minutes into the game. So, about minute 8, we should see where the stage two circle is going to be. And we're not worried too much about the blue zone. Maybe there's like a little bit of maybe 1 or 2 HP per tick that's going to be happening in the blue zone. So you can still tank it until maybe stage 2, generously, maybe stage 3 of the circle. So you can still chill out. You don't have to worry too much about rotating unless there's really no reason to stay in your position. But okay, finally, Scorpio peeks out, sees Cuckoo. Cuckoo goes into the ground. I'm not seeing a confirmation yet. Su is next, though. Shaf peeking out from another angle. In fact, they're quite near the coast. This is a really, they got a really nice gun early on with 200 ammo as well. That's a Scorpio. We're going to be finding that revenge knockdown from Double O. And I'm just speaking at Double O's inventory. Great armor coming in to Kaneki. They got one grenade, however, but Kaneki's armor will not be helping them in this situation. And now it's just 6-7 that's left. Double oh my goodness, that grenade almost got them. I think the splash damage did quite do. Was that a grenade? I'm not quite sure. But 6-7, way too far away from the rest of their teams. Kaneki got finished off. There's KH knocking down the door. Okay, KH should have information that DO should, like, DO, there's probably only one person left. So they can actually come in with their numbers advantage and try to get this confirmation in. But 6-7 did find one a knockdown for themselves. KH is playing a really, really safe. I guess they saw the stream yesterday where they yeah, he got solo the whole team. So they're trying to avoid this right now. They don't wanna have the repeat of that. But okay, we got some grenade action coming in. 6-7 still inside of that building. Very, very patiently. Mighty still needs to be revived. Otherwise, some other part of the map, we got Leon's and FTR. They have their own thing going. Okay, finally, 6-7 gets caught up by Aiki. And that is our first casualty. TO is going to be the first team to be eliminated off. Unfortunately, still 0 points in this game. But they do have 2 points from the Rondo map previously. So they got 16 more chances. We're not really pressuring them just yet. But okay, we're watching Fraternity. and Leon's going up against each other. Barry has their hovercraft in hand. There's two people active in FTR. That makes one, and that is it. A nice cleanup from Leon's. They have really nice execution on their part on this cliffside battle, and well, unfortunately, that's one team that will be seeing the lobby way too early on. We're still 7 minutes into the game, but well, if there is a hunter, there are the hunted as well. You can see DMT. Let's see what they're up to. They're still gathering resources. I believe this is the Raja Folkyard area. Hunter, I can see from the map, they're all alone as of this moment. There's Syndicate nearby, OPX still here. They do have their cars. If I'm not mistaken, I think Syndicate does have compounds. They have buildings for themselves, so that's like a slight advantage for themselves. OPEX. Now the question is, will they go on the aggressive, or are they just positioning themselves, trying to get another angle up against Syndicate? So here in between prison and mansion, this is exactly what's going to be happening. Syndicate might be going on the aggressive. They're making their moves. They have their vehicles in hand. OPX, they also have their vehicles in, but they are rotating away, so I'm not sure what the plan is here. Syndicate, okay, let's see what their plan is. They're selling in. They're not giving the chase, strictly speaking, or are they? Okay, I think they could be giving the chase. And now let's look at what the next phase of the circle is looking like. There's a bit of water in the next stage of the circle, so that just gives a little bit less space than you'd want it to. And comfortably, there are about maybe half of the teams that are already rotated into the area, or maybe they've settled into the area from the start. But there's some teams that still need to move. LHC, in fact, are still in Novorepnoye. They have to cross that bridge. There's nothing else left to stay there for, so there's no need to stay there. They can go ahead and rotate easily. They got 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes left to go before the stage 2 circle closes in comfortably. So you know what, just don't risk your HP for nothing. They could swim the way there. Okay, we got Lucy getting hit by suit in hand. Syndicate, they have the grenades. Cooking Cloud's gonna be following up. Ayu, they're cooking up a grenade. Let's see if it hits. Friday, Rio Day rather. Why did I say Friday? But okay, we can still revive Cloud. We can still revive Lucy Suit. However, on the rooftop, I'm a little bit nervous from this situation. Rio Day, they're cooking up a grenade, but they got a couple of seconds left to go. Ayu is gonna be sidestepping this situation, 1 versus 1, and it looks like Rio Day goes prone into the ground just to be safe. Ayu cooks up a grenade. Let's see if it has the splash damage that they need. And Syndicate still needs to heal up. Lucy and Cloud are less than half health already, but Rio Day is not giving them any chance whatsoever to breathe. And that just makes things hard. 1 versus 1. Finally, Rio Day goes into the ground. Ayu finished the job. Mad, they have another player from Game Over on the second floor. Let's just peek at who exactly that is, but Mad will be prioritizing saving Cloud and just in time. Lucy also gets a save. Criminal, however, knocks down Lucy again. What just happened back there? Looks like NRC is partially this situation. As you can see, they are in the northern position of the mansion. Mod coming right up. Oh, but there we have it. Game over. It's a game over for them. But on the other hand, Syndicate, they do have 3 eliminations, but they lost Lucy in the process. No matter. We got 11 minutes into the game. We can still chill out. We still have a lot of time. And yes, it's a little bit worrying, especially if you think about how most of the teams are still full squads. But okay, we got OPZ in our side. The Syndicate does have the mansion in control, and so they can go ahead and do their sniper business in this situation. But Mod's not gonna be using the building. They're gonna get their vehicles and face their opponent head on. But okay, just looking at the kill feed, it looks like Team Nos and Sky are going up against each other. And so I think we're going to be peeking out and see how the rest of the teams are doing. Okay, OPZ is rotating out. DMT, Team Nos going up against each other. So there should be a 3-way engagement happening just from the looks of it. Zenzo does find a couple of players from NOS also, and NOS might be in trouble. They're actually just a single player left, and so they're gonna have to think about what's happening at this moment. They have to keep themselves alive. They have to keep themselves in their survivability, and so it's absolutely crazy. So Nos is still holding on to dear life with the one player standing. KH did lose one player, but after that, I'm not seeing any follow ups. And TMZ doing well, but they're being really quiet as of this moment. I guess they haven't ran into anyone yet. Lovins is also quiet, but I'm gonna expect, since this is Lovins we're talking about, we're gonna be seeing, if ever they run into someone, we're gonna be seeing the aggression that we've seen in their group stages, in their semifinals as well. I have high hopes for Lovins. Basically, the best performing team in the semifinals. Like I mean, like consistently, they've been at like the number one rank for a couple of maps. But okay, we're watching OPZ. They ran into SDMZ. Agent is out in the open, and it's a good thing that White doesn't have a good angle up against Agent. But Agent's definitely, I don't know if I have a better term, basically rage baiting White as of this moment. Okay, we got Nani also nearby in that situation, but Agent does have a vehicle. They don't have to worry too much about getting caught up. They're just trying to find another angle, and this is a really good plan for SDMZ. But okay, Agent's gonna be rotating in where the hot spot is for the battle is. It looks like OPZ did a split positioning, and now Flanky's gonna be going inside of this building. There's a bunch of splash damage coming in from the grenades. Flanky's cooking that up, throwing it into the window, but OPG is gonna be sidestepping that really quickly. It's Icy actually that's being cornered into this second floor, and Flanky and another player from SDM, they're gonna be storming in. 3 versus 1. This is not gonna be going well, and Flanky's one good position. The grenade finishes them off. That's one elimination on their side from that situation. Of course, that makes it two as of this moment. That's half of OPZ gone, and OPZ, they should have, once again, they did do a split push, so now all that's left is SDMZ hunting them down. We'll probably see that really soon if they have the information as to where the other OPZ is. I'm pretty sure Agent already scouted them out. But okay, the last person standing from Team NOS, which is Deadshot, finally gets caught up. And we're seeing another team wipe out. Now we're down to 12 teams. FTR, DO, Game Over, and NOS. They got their early goodbyes for this map. But okay, question is, which of these teams are gonna be next to see the lobby? Soli took a lot of damage back there. Aiki, great shots coming in from this guy, but I'm not seeing things popping up on the kill feed. So Soli's literally hanging on by a thread as of this moment. And Soli, yes, they managed to heal up just in time, which is like a nick of time. KH, however, they're not really giving up. They find Soli scarred, and they're trying to take it down. They don't want Soli going anywhere. There's smokes coming right up as well. But Leon's Kali, they do find Debu from E2S7. And where is E2S7 is in this situation? I think this is still between Lovins and KH. Got Scorpio right onto the ground. It's making me a little bit nervous. I hope there's a vehicle nearby. And if not, it's just gonna be the trees that will be helping Scorpio and Ike out. But KH, they're doing a really good job already. In fact, they have 4 eliminations. So I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. Whatever they're doing, it's working out really well. Elan is gonna be cooking up a grenade. Scorpio, however, catches them out. I don't know if Elan didn't know that Scorpio was there. They're way too out in the open. That was a mistake. Okay, that was a mistake on the part of Elan. But KH Esports, a great positioning as well. Elan was just trying to get the grenades cooking. But okay, we got 11s. They still have 3 players left, and at least they have some information that there's a couple of players from KH closing in, and now they have each other's backs. And well, KH versus 11s, we got a little bit of a nice perspective here. KH did have the control over the building, so they have a slight advantage. They have they don't have to worry too much about the blue zone because KH can just close in. Lovens can also close in on the circle, but they do have to step out of those buildings, step out of this positioning. Aiki took a bunch of damage, however. Where is that from? Probably solely from this distance. And Lovins is definitely gonna close in. They're just trying to find a really nice angle. And 7X goes right into the ground, goes on the red. Maito and Soli still active, but a little bit far off from 7X's location. And KH is gatekeeping this situation. KH will not want 7X to be saved, but they can use them as bait. KH is daring Lovins to save 7X. In fact, we got a bunch of grenades cooking. Mighty and Ike's gonna be throwing in the grenades. Just an exchange, trades of grenades coming about. Mighty took a bit of took cut rather a bunch of splash damage from that grenade. Solely goes right into the ground. Uses the cars. We're gonna be closing in. Let's see what Lovin's plan is gonna be now that there's just two players left. It might be hard, especially since KH does have the advantage of having the building, but the Lovins can probably use the building and turn it against KH if they just play their cards right. They have to be especially careful. All right, we got Scorpy throwing the grenade on Maito's location. Oh no, that's not a grenade. That's actually a Molotov. It's a Molly that I'm not really seeing giving damage up against them. Okay, Scorpy going on to the ground floor, solely right in their sights, and Blue Zone's gonna be closing in. What just happened back there? Nice awareness coming in from Scorpy. That's an easy elimination on their side, but Scorpy has to get out of there. That is a stage 5 circle that we're looking at. That's a vehicle elimination just to finish the job, and Naeem gets caught up in the crossfire, although they couldn't quite finish off the elimination that they almost had. Barry's right behind this smokes. Flanky is holding on to their life. Oh my goodness, what just happened? Flanky was being so patient in this situation, but unfortunately Eddie sees through the smoke, manages to land those bullets, and SDMC unfortunately with 5 eliminations only, they're gonna be safe. They're gonna be having an early bowing on this map. It's not too early actually, it's 19 minutes into the game. We're stage 5 circle. Alright, we got a bunch of smoke coming about. It's gonna be having a hard time in terms of visibility, and still the circle is favoring a lot of the water. It just makes things a little bit harder for our teams right now. There's just a little bit less place for all the teams to settle in, and of course this map is way too small for 20 players as of this moment. OPEX, they're down to 2 active players. They're down to 2 players that are still alive. KH doing a really good job with 7 eliminations. Leon's, however, with 12. That's like Rondo level performance. So I'm really happy to see Leon's climbing steadily, and also there's still a possibility for placement points, especially since Leon still has 2 players left standing. Alright, so they could probably finish off KH, but it's just way too risky to go out in the open in this situation. You can see Soli's basically train of thought. They're like healing up and they're looking in that direction, and Mighty unfortunately gets caught up, and KH will have to say goodbye. That was so risky. That's exactly why Soli's like, they know it's not safe. LHT's third party in this situation from a distance, and they have really nice boulders to hide behind, really nice rock formations. But okay, we got LHT versus Skyforce. NS is right behind Odin. Okay, they're taking the they're taking the risk, trying to peek out but backing away really quickly when they didn't see the information that they needed. Oh, but from a distance, OPX will be taking care of them, and that's it. We're down to 16. Oh, 16. I'm really sorry. We're down to 16. 21 minutes into the game. Unfortunately, that's another team that's gonna be going down. Leon finds Hunter. and they're going right into the ground. We got Lovins has one person left standing. Opex and Leon's both a duo. Syndicate, last person standing. DMT losing their players one after the other. Opex might be giving this situation a really nice grenade to the face. Let's see if Hunter can angle this grenade really well. Can't see how that ended up. I don't know if there's splash damage, but there's definitely no knockout from this situation. Hunter is all alone in this situation. Ryan is quite far off, and Hunter I don't think could be saved, especially since there's like at least three players from LHC ganging up on them, and Rain definitely has bullets raining down on them. They have to get out of here. This is a stage 6 circle. Look at the ticks and that damage. They cannot stay there long term. I don't know if that healer kit will save you. Mad Boy, LHC, three players left standing. Odin's gonna be shot at, and Ryan actually managed to get that revenge knockdown on their side. And that blue zone should be able to finish them off. Oh, I'm seeing Mamoon getting kicked out of their car, and that's an elimination in themselves. That's gonna be three teams left now. Two. What just happened there? OPEC says goodbye that early on. And what's happening with Leots? They are absolutely on fire in this map. They still have a duo. Lovin's last person standing, and they already have 16, possibly 17 eliminations that they're gonna be finishing off with. Solely very patient this whole time. Let's see if they can clutch this 2 versus 1. Anu and Eddie definitely they don't want to get divided, conquered, but solely gonna be hiding in this boulder, and Anu's getting shot at, but Anu is trying to cook up a grenade. Solly's gonna be doing that as well, throwing it in 1 versus 1 while Anu was distracted with cooking up that grenade. Solely half health. Eddie has their guns out. They're not gonna be making the same mistake, but Solly peeks out. Goes in. They have health. Eddie's still full health. They have the DBS in hand. This is making me really nervous. And then that's an AK in hand. And oh, Soli still manages to come in. Clutch 2 versus 1. One just like that. Lovins, congratulations for this victory. That is our winner chicken dinner for our second match for this game, for this grand finals. That's absolutely insane. All of the teams did so well, but this time around, Lovins will get that chicken dinner, and that's 6 eliminations. Solely clutched this, carried the team like literally. What is happening? The damage from their other teammates is just double digits. I think a lot of them actually got picked off really early on. I remember 7X, Elon, Maito. I think halfway, a little bit more than halfway into the game, they got picked up, but solely 6 eliminations, giving 16, responsible for 16 points for Lovins in this map. That's absolutely insane. That's 719 damage done by the single player, maneuvering team after team after team and making sure they stay alive. You can see Soli's decision making this whole game, because Soli got a lot of screen time. Soli decision making is absolutely insane. Hiding behind trees, going prone, using their gun instead of using the grenade in very very crucial moments, winning those 1 versus 1s, and basically divide and conquer Leons, and getting this victory for themselves. I'm not saying Leons did it wrong. Leons did a great job. They had like 16 eliminations last I saw. It's just absolutely insane. Two amazing teams at the end, but still solely clutched this. There's no other way to look at it. They clutched this. 16 eliminations though for Leon's means that Lovins gets overshadowed from this situation. That's 22 total points for Ellen and Leon's. Number 2, yes, we saw a while ago, Lovins has 16. Double O OPEX, however, has 11. LHC has 10. Syndicate has 8. KH Esports 7. GMT 6. Skyforce has 5. SDM Esports has 5. And RS has 2. And there's a huge chunk of teams, 7 in fact teams, with 0 total points, but it's okay. We still have so many maps left to go. In fact, for tonight, we still have 4 more maps left to go. There's still 4 more chances for tonight alone for teams to catch up. MVP is Leon's Eddie with the 8 eliminations and 1,037 damage. That's 2 assists and 1 headshot. Congratulations to Eddie from Leon's. And I remember Eddie is maybe either the third or second last person on the map. So great survivability coming in from Eddie as well. So once again, 8 eliminations. Some teams don't even have 8 points, period. And the damage is very much decent. Even crossing the 1,000 point mark is already a huge feat. And I'm just gonna say, what an amazing performance coming in from the teams. Leon's almost crossing, coming up to SDMZ Esports. They're 1 point away. Actually, in fact, rank number one, rank number two, and rank number three, they're a single point away from each other. And for rank number four, we're seeing a pretty big drop by 9 points. That's double OPEX with 24 points. But now, SEMZ, Leons, and Lovins are the big sharks for tonight as of the first two matches. But still, I'm not going to be making any conclusions yet. We have like 16 maps left to go in this grand finals. And so we will be seeing match number three of this grand finals after a short break. So guys, do not go anywhere. We'll be seeing you soon in a few minutes.
Ooredoo के इन फैसलों में तेरे को पेपैल हित में मिहा बड़ा මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරුගි බොඩැන්නවාන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරුගි ගොඩැන්නවාන්. මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරුගි ගොඩැන්නවාන්.
And there we have it. We're going to be moving on to match number 3 after our very first 2 matches in our Esports Contender Series Season 3 for PUBG. We are still in the grand finals. We are still on day 1 of the grand finals, in fact. And of course, we're going to have a really, really nice time, especially since I just remembered both of our first maps, Rondo and Erangel, that we just saw a couple of minutes ago. Those were solo player clutches for the chicken dinner. So it's definitely going to be a very, very exciting grand finals. And the reason for that is, well, because the teams that will be playing tonight are just absolutely the best of the best in the country. And well, our teams, our 16 teams that are participating tonight, they have absolutely not disappointed just yet. And so this is what we're going to be looking forward next to our match number 3. So match number 3 is like around the midway of our day number 1. So I guess people have a sort of an idea as to how their teammates, how their opponents rather, going to be moving about. So they could adjust to the tempo, to the energy that these 16 teams are radiating. But that flight path is way too biased towards the southern part. There's so many places that are inaccessible from the parachute alone. I believe even Hacienda del Patron might not be accessible without maybe driving a little bit. So I'm hoping that we're gonna be seeing perhaps like early game engagements, especially since there isn't a lot of good drop off places, and that should force a couple of teams to land in the same area out of necessity. And hopefully that happens, because I'm sure a lot of teams would choose to drop off like in some really good places, like for example in Pozo. I'm sure there are some teams that like landing there. I'm sure there are Hacienda del Patron mains as well, and El Azahar not too common. Picado probably pretty common, but surprisingly there's no one going for Picado. But here we have it. If that's a very bad flight path, it's also a very bad circle. That is. Let me use my map skills. That's probably like 30% water. It's a good thing there's a lot of players already within the circle. They don't have to move too much, but they do have to spread out just a little bit. You can see there are some teams that are spreading outside of the circle for the moment because it's too clustered in there. It's too cluttery. It's too stuffy in there. There won't be a lot of resources, so they're just gonna be spreading out and then worrying about rotating into the circle later on. But yes, this is a very interesting map. This is a very interesting flight path and an especially interesting first circle. So right now, let's just go ahead and keep a watch out for what the teams are going to be up to. Surprisingly, I'm not seeing an early game engagement, but DMT it did come in with only a three-man squad, so I'm like slightly concerned if ever a DMT might try to vie for a lot of points in this map. But DMT, they are ranked number 10. They do still have 6 points from our very first two maps, so they do have to catch up a little bit. They have to pick up the pace, especially there are 8 teams that are on the double digits already. That's like half of the teams in this lineup in this grand finals already at the double digits, so they do have to catch up just a little bit. And we can see actually a lot of teams still at 2 points, and so I mean we're still in two maps. Maybe they have two bad maps in succession, so it's really understandable that we don't pressure them too much. We definitely want them to pick up the pace, but okay, we won't pressure them a little bit too much. But okay, we have some rotations happening. We saw DMT a while ago. They landed just outside of the circle, and now they're just going to take their time and try to loot the place up before they have to be forced to basically stuff themselves inside the very first stage one circle. But here, Chumacera, we got Syndicate looting the place up. Surprisingly, I'm not seeing the early game engagements I thought I would be seeing, especially since the flight path is very biased towards the south and the circle is leaving not too much space for the teams to go about. And I really thought the flight path might force a lot of teams to choose their secondary drop off points. And I was hoping that we'd see like teams landing in the same area, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So I guess we're gonna be working with what we have. 4 minutes into the game, there's no early game engagements, and you can see there's some teams that already have pretty good guns, lots of ammo, lots of grenades. Mod especially, we got the 4 grenades in. Nothing has three. There's just some guns coming about, but Skyforce is nearby, and I don't know why nothing is all alone. I don't know if it's just the mini map, but this should be a 4 versus 1, so nothing's like probably sweating themselves right now. And oh my goodness, I don't know if Sky has any information, and there we have it. They were just camping about, but Skyforce has a numbers advantage no matter how you look at it. Nothing was prepared, but they were definitely not prepared enough. They have basically FTR unfortunately rotated a little bit too early. We got Chubby in hand, and Skyforce definitely has smelled the blood in the water. And you can see Skyforce, they're going to be rotating out of the area. I'm not sure where FTR is. I did see one player from FTR nearby. I guess other than Chubby, there was someone else. I actually noticed. I think that was a Brucey that was nearby. Anish 1 versus 1 with Chubby, and Chubby's just waiting for the right moment to strike. And now that Anish was distracted with the car, they managed to get them down into the ground, very low on health. Anish managed to get away. However, they're healing up really, really well. But Chubby's going to be closing in the distance and basically trying to finish the job. Chubby's really confident here walking out in the open, and that's exactly what happened. Anish punishes them for that, and Anish finishes the job. Things have gone south. That was the tables turned, quite literally. Anish just punishing Chubby for, well, basically walking out in the open like that and getting them almost knocked down, just so close to losing their lives. Now, question is, I don't know where the rest of Skyforce is. They basically left Anish in this situation, and Anish's car should be kaput of this moment. But Abruzzi, it looks like Abruzzi was the last person standing on FTR that whole time. So while we were looking at Chubby and Anish, Skyforce and FTR did go up against each other. Toma did lose themselves and went back into the lobby. We got 4 eliminations, so that's Skyforce giving themselves a full squad wipeout against Fraternity. Fraternity did have the one elimination. They took down Toma, but the basically they traded it off with 4 points towards Skyforce. So that is our very first team wipeout. Our very first engagement in the game, which is surprising. So that's still 7 minutes into the game. Right now, we're kind of just chilling. This is Miramar, so things are probably gonna be slow, and so we're gonna be chilling, patiently waiting for the stage 1 circle. We should see a stage 2 circle in a couple of seconds. We're almost at the 8-minute mark, and just checking the leaderboards. Not much happened actually. I'm being completely serious right now. Not much happened other than the FTR and Skyforce skirmish that we saw a while ago. DMT, once again, they did come in with only 3 players in the roster. So DMT, I'm not sure if they're taking damage from the blue zone. That's the reason why I saw a bit of chip damage in there. But actually, they're not the only team still at the blue zones. SCMZ chose to go to El Pozo, past the circle, very, very way past the circle. But they don't have to worry about damage just yet. They know that there's nobody who's going to be coming up from their northern position, and that's just way too far off. So they'll just loot the place up comfortably, and that's usually what SDMG. I noticed SDMG's strategy is they try to land as far away as possible in the early game, just so maybe they don't run into any trouble. They're not really known for dropping off in like the middle of the map. They like going to the edge and then making their way to the center as they get the best guns that they got. But here, I like Ike's loadout as of this moment. We got the short range gun, we got the long range gun. Not really a big fan of just having one grenade, however. It makes me a little bit nervous. And the armor could be better, but they'll have to work what they have with what they have. We're still like 9 minutes into the game. We're still mid game. So the good loot will come in time. Now it's just all about being patient. And what most teams can do is make the rotations and try to get in with a really nice positioning for maybe a stage 4 possible all-out skirmish between the teams. Who knows when that actually will happen. And so White will be trading off their horse for a Sonic car. But it's fine. We're just gonna be really, really patient. We are almost 10 minutes into the game, and as of this moment, still SDMZ, Leons, and Lovins will be dominating the leaderboards. But then again, it's still match 3 out of so many matches in this grand final, so we'll just have to be very, very patient. And this leaderboards these leaderboards could still change quite a lot. This is still inconclusive. We know which teams are coming in strong from the start, but it's not gonna guarantee that by day 3 this leaderboard is still gonna look the same. But okay, it looks like Cuckoo gets caught up. However, Do should have a little bit of trouble, especially with Game Over Esports having them on their sites. Dio, quite at a distance. Game over clustered upon here in the intersection. I can see 6-7 from Dio from a distance, but I don't know what the rest of Dio is. It could possibly have been like a split push for Dio, and so 6-7 should be all alone in this situation. I'm not very sure. But as of this moment, game over, they do have the one elimination on their side. In fact, Channel will be getting that one elimination in, and now they're just checking the horizons for any sort of movement. But meanwhile, we're seeing another engagement happening. OPZ on our cameras. We got LHC as well. Still zero eliminations. I did see a knockout, but it's not gonna be confirmed yet. I'm not seeing the confirmation against KH. In fact, KH managed to heal up in this situation. So guess it was just like a warning shot whatsoever. They managed to heal up, bounce back from that situation. We're about 12 minutes into the game. We're still stage 2 of the circle, and less than a minute left to go. We should be able to see where the stage 3 circle is. And we'll have to be patient. They're all just kind of like making their peaks. They're the players are being pretty restless. However, OPZ is just trying to maybe find an angle up against game. That's not game over. That's actually Ellen, and I believe that was I'm not quite sure. I didn't quite catch what the name was, but here they did get knocked out in this situation, and Do finally they have backup. Susu has backup. And question is now, will they go on the aggressive or will they leave game over alone, or will this just be a standoff between the two teams? Because one thing's for sure, game over esports aren't moving from this compound. They don't want to give this location up. They're very comfortable here. Rio Day still needs to be saved, and so if it's not broke, you don't fix it. Game over. They have this place in hand, and it's still quite near the stage 3 circle. They got like more than a minute left to go. They got maybe 2 or 3 minutes where they can still stay here comfortably before the blue zone touches them. But we can see Dio making their move, Susu at a distance at north, 6-7 coming in as well. I don't know where their third player is. I'm sure there should still be a third player of Dio. Here, OPZ, yes, Lovins is nearby. Lovins is doing a split push. Two towards the western position and two coming in from the south. A little bit of a sandwich attack, but here he does find Shuffle. I think this is another part of the map, but we will keep our eyes peeled for Lovins really, really quickly. First, we're seeing the bombardment of grenades. White already down into the ground. That grenade didn't really connect much damage. There's a Syndicate also nearby, so there's a potential of a third party situation in this place. Solely cooking up the grenade. Donnie's dangerously on health. Let's see if it's gonna be a finisher, but in the end, Soli's gonna be the one going alright into the ground. They were walking out in the open. I'm seeing this quite a lot actually, walking out into the open and being punished for just that, but there's no other way that you can go and close in the distance. But Elon took a bit of damage. They're half health. They're almost half health in this situation. We got grenade cooking. Nani's inside of the building, but that building is gonna turn into a grenade fest really, really soon. Elon's gonna be going up to the second floor, putting in those bullets. Icy, however, still gets to stand up. Grenade cooking about, but Icy manages to back away. That was actually a Molotov. I'm really sorry, but okay, we got another casualty. That's gonna be KH going down. Elon finds Nani, finishes them off. White, however, gets it taken out as well, and Icy is the icing on the cake. Maito's nice grenade throw. It's gonna be another elimination. We got 13 teams left. Will this be a 12 later on? NRS also finding their own casualties, and it's absolutely a mess. 15 minutes into the game, we're seeing a lot of casualties. We got Lucid, we got Criminal going onto the ground, getting knocked. We still have Al1, and we also have Toxic in the bag. And we can see STMZ closing in, and NRS, they are in troubles. Lucid might be finished off in this situation. That's exactly what's going to be happening. Criminal still could be saved. Toxic dangerously low on health, and we got 3 down on the side of NRS. L1 is a single player as of this moment. They are a solo player as of this moment, and STMZ they could take care of this situation. There's Lovins nearby, so they're definitely moving the goalpost, and they have the crosshairs in hand, but it's a little bit too far off. That's Alwan is way nearer. We got the 2 versus 1 inside of this building. There's grenades cooking about. Aman probably gonna be helping out from this angle, and let's see if it's gonna be hitting. Alwan dangerously low on health. Egypt and Flanky could storm in with their numbers advantage, but I'm seeing grenades happening, and Alwan is trying to hide right behind of this wall. They have to be very, very careful. They don't want to get picked up. Okay, we're seeing the movement, but Alwan still, nonetheless, Aman has the SMG in hand and finishes the job. NRS will be saying goodbye a little bit early on, but I'm very, very concerned since NRS still has only 2 points after 3 maps, and they already have an early goodbye in this grand finals in this match number 3. So we got 12 teams left. We have 4 teams that got wiped out within 16, almost 17 minutes into the game. Question is, will there be more? Especially since in this mini map alone, we can see 3 teams going at it against each other. Skyforce, Anish, they still need to heal up. Oh my goodness, that Beagle came out of nowhere, and guns blazing coming in. Skyforce versus Lovitz, and Lovitz with their all they got. We got the 1 versus 1, and this 1897 solos that, and that was absolutely crazy. Lovitz basically just put a really huge risk, but in the end, Skyforce gets the last laugh. They can still even revive the rest of it. What? They just left Aman. What? Dude. Okay, but anyways, as the MC's flanking is nearby, they could finish off Skyforce. Oh, what a mar there. What just happened? I'm so concerned. Wait a minute. But okay, Naeem is gonna be finishing off Aman. I guess Aman was like, dude, just leave me alone here. You can't save me. Just go away. SDMZ has me. Just use me as bait. I don't know. That was so heroic. That was cinematic. But here, speaking of which, Flanky has a huge track record, especially from the first map. This guy racks up elimination after elimination after elimination. So if I were you, I'd be watching Flanky. But here, okay, we got another casualty. We got LHC getting wiped out. Of course, we saw Lovins just a while ago. They do have 4 eliminations, so at least they exited this match with a considerable amount of points. Here we have Hunter just trying to heal up really quickly. Flanky, however, not giving them time to breathe. We got the grenades coming, and of course we also have the frontliners as the MD going close and going far. And there we have it. Agent finishes the job. Zenzo gets taken out, and that just means TMT will be saying goodbye. SDMZ, meanwhile, got the 8 eliminations in, but Skyforce is also has 8 eliminations. It cannot tie with SDMZ, but Skyforce is all alone. NS is all alone, hiding in the building, all alone, no backup whatsoever. And well, they'll just have to vie for placement points, I suppose. But here, SDMZ, really nice distribution of the eliminations. They got 2 each, actually, and there's still a full squad. And so SDMZ is making their hunt. Okay, now we're watching out. There's Game Over way too far off. Game Over is like a distance away from the circle. It's not too far, actually, but the potential for the gatekeep is huge, so they have to be very careful in their rotations later on. SDMZ comfortably inside of the play zone. There's Syndicate nearby. Syndicate has been a little bit quiet, so they still have 0 eliminations. They might be going for some more engagements later on, or they could stay quiet. Seal 7 still alive. They quietly got like 2 eliminations, and now Leon's is in their side. Tibu got some bullets, can't connect, however. Syndicate's nearby, so they could be competing for elimination points. Leon's Barry gets taken out by Team Nos. Tempo finds Matu from Game Over. There's another thing happening there. But Nos, it looks like Nos might be in trouble. In fact, Nos will be saying goodbye as well. They'll be the next team to go down. We got 8 teams left. I think we have a bunch of placement points in hand. Placement points to be had. Bogobe from Syndicate comes in, finds Naim from SDMZ, puts them onto the ground, and they finish them off as well. That's one down on the side of SDMZ. Bogobe, this is a great start for Syndicate, and so well, Leon's. We're gonna be watching out through their eyes. Let's see what they do. Flanky puts a little bit of damage up against E2S7. So we can see, okay, who got eliminated off? I guess we have Skyforce. Finally, the last person in Skyforce gets picked off, gets spotted, and Do also, they're losing players left and right, and so Do should be just a solo player, solo active player. I don't know if they can still revive their one other player, but Suit from Game Over gets taken out, and that's game over for Game Over. And it's just not a good thing to see. Kaneki gets taken out, and I think Dio is also going to be seeing their demise. Eddie rotating out to the area. E2S7 has them on their side, but Ahmad, the nice connections. And that is it. That's a knockout we're looking for Eddie. Solid finishes the job. Syndicate Mod closing in, trying to see if they can finish the job, and that's a lot of damage. Where is that coming from? Amon from STMZ catches them, and E2S7 could potentially finish the job. I could see they were rotating into the area, trying to finish off Mod. There's a grenade cooking, and Mod can't do anything about this situation. Okay, Flanky out in the open. They are hungry for more eliminations, throwing a grenade towards Syndicate. Syndicate, they're trying to divide their attention across like 3 different other opponents, 3 different teams, and it's just such a hard situation. But Ayan does have the elimination that they need up against Ado, and Cloud's gonna be taken out by Tempo. OPX Fantastic gets taken out by the grenade from Deepu. That's a knockdown actually. Now we're down to 4 teams. SEMZ numbers advantage. They have 4 active players. OPEX, 3 active players, 1 down. Syndicate, they're down to their last player, their last active player, alongside Seal, and Seal, they're holding on to dear life. Solid gets taken out by Agent. They're confirming that kill, and now Seal, they have only 1 player left, and Syndicate's trying to lick their wounds. They're cooped up in this shed, and there's a grenade trying to get them about. That's not actually a grenade, that's a Molotov. Bogobe is burning right into the ground. Mod gets taken out by Agents. Molotov, and that is it for Syndicate. Now we are down to 3 teams. OPEX full squad, Steel, solo player, and SDMZ 3 players. Now, OBX, they're clustered about. They have the numbers advantage, but we're talking about SDMZ. We're talking about CLE's 2 teams. They have track records. And OPEX, yes, they are a decent team, but are they gonna match up with the aggression that we're seeing from SDMZ? SDMZ, 13 eliminations. This is peak SDMZ. This is the SDMZ that I know. They were holding back in the group stage, and still in the grand finals they definitely do not disappoint. We got the blue zone closing in. That's forcing OPEX to move. Deepu all alone from E27 is towards their eastern position, and they're trying to move away from the grenade bombardment from SDMZ. Fantastic, however, gets caught up by the bullets of Agent. Deepu finally gets spotted by Flanky. That's gonna be just OPEX and SDMZ now. We're seeing a man-made red zone coming in from SDMZ. We got grenades bombarding. Matu goes down first. Flanky finds that with their own guns. Agent's gonna be rotating, getting another angle in. Matu goes down, and now there should be 2 people left. Hunter is gonna be next, and all that's left is SDMZ finding this last person, and that's a shit for Rain. Rain gets caught up, and SDMZ gets that delicious second chicken dinner. Fortunate. I mean, this is SDMZ. This is peak SDMZ. I'm gonna say I'm definitely not surprised that out of the 3 maps that happened in the grand finals, 2 of the winner in chicken dinners are from SDMZ. Congratulations once again for a job well done. What a team! What an amazing team coming in. SDMZ, congratulations. And now we have the team stats to look at. Agent has the lion's share in eliminations this time around, but that's gonna be 8 eliminations and 1,210 damage. Flanky coming right up with 5 and 779 damage done. Naeem with 2 eliminations, and Amon with 3 eliminations, but 747 damage. So across all of these players, actually, it's a decent amount of damage. It's absolutely insane. Here's the match rankings. We got 28 total points from SDMZ. Coming up second is CL7 with 14 points. Number 3 is OPEX with 12. Number 4 is Leons with 10. Skyforce with 9. And then Syndicate with 5. Lovins is 4. Game Over Esports with 3. Double O and NOS each have 2. Fraternity has 1. And we have about 6 teams, unfortunately, that will not be getting anything out of this map for our very first Miramar map. So hopefully the teams are going to be bouncing back after this situation. MVP, however, will be going to Agent with the 8 eliminations and the 1,210 damage that we saw a while ago. Assist with 4 assists and 2 headshots as well. Congratulations once again to SDMZ. Very, very decent amount of eliminations, and well, honestly, they have so many star players. As of this game, Flanky and Agent are shining quite a lot, and so just proud to see SDMZ still keeping their consistency throughout all the seasons in PUBG. Time and time again, they're proving themselves. The reason why they can basically dominate the Maldives esports scene. Here are overall rankings. SDMZ Esports making a name for themselves. That's 63 total points. That's like 19 points more than Leon's at number 2, which is 44. Coming in third is Slovens with 37. Number 4 is OPEX with 36. And Skyforce at number 5 with 24. Other than that, and the rest of the teams haven't crossed the 20-point mark, and even more concerning, from rank number 10 below, they're still in the single digits. But then again, we still had 3 matches that just passed. We have 3 left to go for this day number 1 of the grand finals. And so, of course, we will be moving on to match number 4 as usual. We will still take a short break before that happens. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see you soon in a couple of minutes, and then we'll go on to match number 4. But for now, see you soon.
මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවාන්. දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ගොඩැන්නවාන්. මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ගොඩැන්නවාන්.
And there we go. We are back for our match number 4 of the Esports Contender Series Season 3 for PUBG. And so we had like the winner chicken dinner of SCMZ once again in our previous map. And now we will be moving on to match number 4. There's so many teams that are already doing well right off the bat after 3 matches. But of course, we have 3 more matches left to go. And I'm really hoping that especially teams on page number 2 or the second half of the table, I'm really hoping that they will catch up in terms of points. And so I'm crossing my fingers because I'm seeing some really nice teams, some really nice names that have done well in previous tournaments that are kind of struggling in terms of points right now. But that's probably because there are also a lot of decent teams that have been clustering into the this grand finals. And there's such nice teams participating for this esports contender series, so I completely understand. It's just what uh it's just what a competition for our grand final. So well, this is what we're going to be looking forward to. We're going to be watching a wrangle once again. We have 16 teams and 64 players, so I'm very happy that all the teams have full squads. So we're not seeing numbers disadvantages here. And that's a really nice line. It's a very satisfying line. It's straight up east to west, starting from hospital, going to the way to prison. And right off the bat, we're seeing some teams dropping off already. And I know SDMZ usually they go for Zarky if it's available, if it's accessible. And so everyone else, they're gonna be clustering about around the map. I'm sure FTR will probably try to go for Primorsk. And then it looks like OPX will be settling in on Gotka. Lovins will go to Pachinki, either that Pachinki or somewhere within Pachinki. Syndicate's dropping off as well. DMT might be going for Rojok. And there's a huge cluster actually of teams dropping off from the airplane the last few seconds. So question is, will there be an early game engagement? I'm not quite sure, but everyone's gonna be settling in. There are a few open spots, but there's some clustering as well. Some teams are landing well within the same vicinity, but I'm not seeing anything popping up on the kill feed, so we're not gonna be worrying about that too much. I don't think anyone is going for the military base as of this moment. But okay, we got the stage one circle. We're about a couple of minutes left to go before that's going to be closing in. So we have maybe until minute 8 to kind of worry about that. But this time around, we're just going to be looting the place up. And you can see everyone's minding their own business. They have all the freedom in the world to kind of just loot the place up, get the best guns without getting picked off by a stray Uzi or like crossbow. So everyone's just chilling. Surprisingly, everyone's behaving, but it really is a nice flight path, and so it makes a lot of places accessible and basically lowers down the competition in terms of drop off points. But yeah, nonetheless, I guess everyone's chilling. No one ran into each other. We're already almost 3 minutes into game, so I guess we're just gonna kick our feet up and let the players do their thing. Let players get their resources. But here, however, this is like the closest two teams that I've seen. It looks like Skyforce actually split up. There's Skyforce on the left of school. There's Skyforce on the right of the school. Stage one circle will close in a minute or so. Still no engagement, however, so I don't think that's too worrying. But Skyforce is very split up, actually. Look at the space in between players. So I'm pretty sure it might work out for them. We don't have to worry about that too much. So we're gonna be chilling about, and we're just gonna wait for the teams to maybe run into each other. DMT and Sky, there's a possibility. And it doesn't seem like they're gonna be running into each other. Skyforce is actually going the other way. I don't think they had information. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been moving this freely. They wouldn't have been moving this um carefreely. But okay, Skyforce going to be moving on to this compound nearby the school. DMT is still at the boatyard. Almost 5 minutes into game. Everyone's chilling. But the play zone's going to be restricted. So now we got about 4 minutes left to go before we see where the stage 2 circle is going to be. I'm not seeing the marker to make DMT move, however. So I'm gonna assume that the circle is at least like a middle of this islands in the middle of this island. Finally, we're seeing some action. Skyforce ran into Team Nos, and rather, it's actually Team Nos that is dominating against Skyforce. There's already one casualty on the side of Sky, and Toma is already leading that revive. And Skyforce has been taken by surprise, I believe, because they are not landing anything up against Nos. And in fact, it's Anish and Amans who will be disengaging from this situation, going back to school and hiding in there. Team Nos, really nice job taking those two eliminations for themselves. And just a little unfortunate that Soma and Ennis 1897 has an early end. They got an early end to this situation. But okay, I'm gonna be chilling about, and let's just go ahead and kind of wait out for the rest of the teams after that initial engagement with Skyforce, and Skyforce disengaged, so we're not gonna be seeing anything following up after that. And now we're just gonna be chilling after this situation. And now let's just kick our feet up just a little bit, and we'll just be cool about it. But I guess we could talk about what the teams are going to be up to from now on. Yes, STMZ, they're comfortably sitting up at number one. They had two very good games. Yes, the match number two, SEMZ didn't quite do well, but didn't matter since they are at the rank number one. They have like a lot of points cushion between them and rank number two. Leon's, however, already doing relatively well as well. They got the 44 total points from this situation. And oh, what's happening? LVN, I think they got one knockdown on their side. Okay, we're watching out. What's happening here in Pachinki? Okay, let me just check the map real quick. Where is a 7X? Where is 7X? Like seriously. Okay, 7X is right there. And Soli could still save them as of this moment. I don't know where the shot came from, however. I'm not seeing it on the mini map. So it should have been a very long range sort of situation that happened. It's absolutely insane. But okay, after that initial shot, that resulted actually in a knockdown. Nothing followed up, which was strange. Okay, I guess we're safe as of this moment. Okay, we can like go back to watching our screens right now. Syndicate. It looks like they ran into Skyforce, and Skyforce is already under numbers deficit. So, they definitely can't go as aggressive as they want to. But that's not gonna stop Anish from trying to take down Bogobe. Bogobe goes right into the ground. Clan has their sights up against Skyforce, but it's not connecting to Ammon just enough. Okay, we got Anish also right at the distance. Might be a little bit hard to get to. They got the cars and they got the vehicles in, and Anish. Oh, finally, Lucy takes out Anish, and so Ammon should be the last person standing. And Skyforce, now that Mad has finished them off, but okay, Ammon's gonna be trying to get away. Lovins is nearby also, so Cloud. It's a good thing Cloud spots 7X just in time. They're not taken by surprise. So Syndicate, yes, they can go ahead and try to rethink the situation, especially since Lovins will have them surrounded. I don't know what happened to NRS back there. The grenade accident, the friendly fire, very strange, but okay. They can still heal up. I'm not sure what happened back there, but yeah, okay. Let's see, the play zone's gonna be restricting in a minute or like 2 minutes as the Flanky finds Chana from Game Over. It looks like there might be like 3 different engagements as of this moment. So let's see where the hottest action is. Flanky does find Chana, finishes them off, but after that, I don't think SDMZ has anyone nearby. So I think that was like a long range situation or maybe an isolated situation. But I see Game Over. They're plastered around all around the map, but they're so far off from each other. But I think it's a car chase sort of a situation that happened, and that's why there was an isolated elimination that happened here with Flanky. But okay, DMT is also making their move to try to drive up this rock form suit, hiding behind this place, this STMZ nearby from afar. And STMZ could have a really clean shot from this situation, but Aman finally getting caught up, and that is it for Skyforce. That will be our first casualty, our very first casualty for this map number 4. Okay. Let's go ahead and try to see if we have any other engagements here. I think we're just checking the maps. I don't think there's any follow-up after like those first couple of knockouts at the same time. But okay, we have OPX Hunter going up against OPZ. Ezio gets finished off by Fantastic. OPX has the 1 elimination for themselves. By the way, OPX, they are ranked number 4. They're doing so well. In fact, they are actually technically tied with Lovins right now. They both have 37 points, strictly speaking. But okay. After that, there's no follow up whatsoever. I'm seeing OPZ, but I'm not seeing where OPX is. OPX should be at their southern part in the hospital. And OPZ, they're gonna be rotating out, going into the coast. OPX. In the meanwhile, they're still looting this place up. They're not making their move yet. And there's another team nearby, if I'm not mistaken, and that should be NOS. And there's also FTR at a distance. And so, well, we can go ahead. Shout. OPEX. They're going to be going to their vehicles. And they're going to be making their move. And I guess they're going to be chilling. Especially since Fraternity kind of like is nearby as well, and we have a bunch of audio cues. The cars, they're not electric, so they're gonna make a lot of noise when they're making moves. And OPZ Esports, I see, just scouting the place out with the crosshairs. They have the rest of the team for backup, so they don't have to worry too much about um watching their backs. They all have each other's backs, and surprisingly, the hospital is still well within the play zone. So this should be a circle around maybe the northwestern part of the main island. So this is quite an interesting circle. I don't see this circle a lot, surprisingly. But okay, we got some grenade flying about. Where is that coming from? There's FTR to worry about as well. Rain does have them on a window, just splitting their attention between 2 or 3 teams, I believe. Okay, nothing. This is their this is going to be their perspective. Okay, they're just looking at the window. Looks like Lucy does fine. I'm from STMZ. Okay, nothing. It's quite a distance, actually. I can't even see the pixels for the opponents that far. That's just absolutely insane. I don't know what they see, but I'm definitely not going to be seeing anything. But what happened here? Toby ran into themselves. It's just a slight accident that happened. That's the second one, actually. That's the second friendly fire that I've seen in this game. Guys, please be careful with your screens. I think we need a short break for players, because they're definitely slipping in terms of their fingers. But okay, we'll cut them some slack. It's been a long day. It's day 4 of our tournament. Yes, at most teams probably played for 2 days straight. There's only 1 day for qualifiers for each team, and then 1 day for the semifinals if they didn't qualify for the grand finals immediately. But you know what, it's gonna be 3 days straight for the grand finals, so they have to conserve a lot of their efforts. Okay, Toby couldn't be saved after that, but at least that elimination point didn't go on to anyone else. What happened? I'm so curious. What happened to Seal 7's Toby? But okay, we're seeing something popping up on the kill feed, and so hopefully we see something interesting in this situation. Lovens coming in, Seal 7, 3 people standing after that little accident with Toby. Toxic, however, finds their own kill. Lucid runs over Susu. Where is DO as of this moment? DO's dangerously low on health. Got 2 players less than half health left to go. We got like a fully healed up player from DO, but that's just all in the leaderboards right now. We're gonna be watching E2S7. What are they up to? There's Lovens, there's DMT, there's also FTR towards their eastern part. So E2S7, it's not gonna be a fun place to be. Anu finds Maito with a grenade. We got Leon's Kali needs to be saved. Dangerously low on health. I think they're gonna be picked off right now, and that's gonna be the first casualty. Solely Elan, 7X are still active players in Lovens, and Lovens, they're gonna be closing in. They're going aggressive up against Leon's, and there's grenades flying here and there. The question is, which next player is gonna be going down in this situation? Because Lovens and Leon's, they pretty much going at it, going aggressive, but Anu has the information that they needed up against Elan, and Elan, unfortunately, did not have the advantage of knowing where Anu was, and Anu was hiding just right behind that wall. But still, it's not over just yet. That's 1 down for Leon's. That's actually 2 down for Leon's favor, but so they already lost Kali, and there's several things still happening. Lovens is disengaging. You can see Soli try to drive away. LHC could potentially third party, but it looks like they're not making any moves just yet. Fraternity is being really quiet. There's DO towards the northern section as well. But okay, we got a couple of things happening in the kill feed. We got Agent getting Kaneki from DO. And so there should be engagement towards this northern part. But okay, SDMZ versus what I can see is OPZ and SDMZ. They got two down players, but still two active players. They are clustered with each other, so they can still heal up really easily. But OPZ, they're definitely not giving them any breathing room whatsoever. Look at that, putting a lot of pressure on them. If there's just one wrong peak from SDMZ, they'll be punished. But okay, we got KH versus Syndicate as well. And a lot of things happened back there. It looks like DO got wiped out sometime around there. Game Over Esports could third party the situation with Leons and Lovins. And Soot is taking it slow actually. They're not really engaging just yet. They're biding their time, trying to see if they can get some more information. They don't want to risk spooking Leons away. And Leons also, they're not making any moves either. There's a lot of trigger discipline happening, although we could probably hear a couple of bullets in a while. Okay, they're all behaving. High, however, goes out in the open. It's a good thing that they can hide behind the house. But okay, High has another car. I saw a car at the distance. Actually, High saw a car at the distance, and now I think he might be going in for some rotations and just to kind of find a really nice angle. But all the while, Agent 27, speaking of angles, White goes down. And let's see if SMC can follow up after that. Amon's really ballsy with this move, going up on this little buggy and try to shoot at an OPZ. It's a good thing SDMG didn't get caught up with any of those bullets. Those bullets are flying, but they're not connecting to SDMG. These guys are made of steel. They're gonna be storming in the building. OPZ's nearby, and now all that stuff is some really nice positioning. We got the Molotov burning on the second floor. Aman coming in as well. Toxic gets taken out by nothing. That should be towards the eastern part of the situation. Cage versus Game Over as well. But not right now. We'll have to watch out for STMZ and OPZ. OPZ up on the third floor. Let's see if Flanky can angle this grenade to their advantage. Alright, we got some explosions coming about, but still no connections. Not even any splash damage, but there's a lot of pressure coming in from SDMZ against OPZ, and OPZ's playing it really safe, daring daring SDMZ to come out here and take them by surprise. But White finally goes down. That should be a numbers disadvantage already right off the bat for OPZ. OPZ down to two players, and they're both on the same building, and that building's getting bombarded by grenades. Hammond, however, down to 0 grenades in their inventory, and Naeem should still have 2 grenades, so they could potentially bombard OPZ, but the things have gotten a little bit more complicated, especially with Lovitz trying to third party this situation. So things have gotten bad. SDMZ, they're gonna be closing in. Solely 2 versus 1, and Solely unfortunately couldn't quite couldn't quite clutch that 2 versus 1, and things are so messy right now. 7x last person standing on Lovins, despite the fact that they wanted to third party this situation. OPZ finally finding their demise. SDMZ taking care of that, and now SDMZ could potentially try to look for a 7x, but here we have it. Able to reinforce Rio. They just at the nick of time takes that E2S7 solid just in time, and Game Over. Shoot's gonna be finishing that off. Grenade coming in, Rio de right into the face. Nice, a shot coming in from Tempo from E2S7, and now Soot, last person standing on Game Over Esports. I think they could still save Rio de, but it might be hard, especially with Tempo storming into the scene. Ian's right behind him as well. Grenade flying here and there. Now S7 is going to be storming in through the smokes, and there we have it. This should be the end. Everyone has nerves, however, that they ran into each other, but they couldn't quite finish that off. Finally, Tempo finds Soot, and that is it. We're down to 10 teams. We're witnessing eliminations one after the other. Game over as of this situation. Leon's still alive, three people standing, E2S7 potentially could be third partied by Barry at this grenade coming right about. It's not gonna be connecting. Oh, Ian took a bunch of damage. I don't know if that's strictly because of the grenade or was that something else, especially since DMT is also towards the northern position and things are getting a little bit complicated. Okay, we see some bullets flying. Toxic gets taken out by Syndicate's Pogobe. E2S7 down to two last players. Pogobe finds Toxic, finishes them off. DMT at a distance. Tempo has the crosshairs out, but they're not engaging just yet. They're not trying their luck with the bullets flying about. NRS are in this red building, so 3-4 building. Got Pogobe still the last person standing. They should probably move. This is a stage 5 circle. That damage burns, and this is a huge risk taken. Healing out in the open, there's no other choice. It's a good thing that's not a good thing actually. L1 from NRS punishes Buluga for that. Unfortunately, that will be the end for Syndicate. Now we're down to 19. We got 29 players left remaining. 21 minutes into the game. SDMZ still going in strong. 3 players left on their side. Seal 7 Tempo. They're on fire, but not in a good way. Ayan's still out there. Could probably save Tempo, but their building is getting stormed up by Leon's as of this moment. This is a 3 versus 1. This is not looking good. Tempo got finished off just now, and Ayan is hiding in the blue zone, and that blue zone will move and have a minute left to go. So if it's not the blue zone, it's gonna be Leon. They'll be taking out Ayan. So best scenario right now actually is to deny that elimination point from Leon's. But okay, we're looking at NRS Lucid. They're out here, out in the open, trying to find a really nice angle where they probably won't get picked off by SDMZ. Okay, got Deadshot finding OPX Hunter. Lucid and Criminal still up in the running for NRS. I don't know if L1 can still be saved. It looks like L1 did get revived just now. They are basically thinking about their survivability really well. But speaking of survivability, Lucid almost got picked off back there. Anti taking a lot of damage. This guy just fell into the ground, knowing that the blue zone's getting to them. I guess they're just trying to get one elimination to drag down with them. Ano, last person standing, trying to get FTR. But in the end, Hunter from another angle takes them down, and Leon's says goodbye. But Leon's goes down with 5 eliminations. I'm sure there are a couple of placement points as well, and so with that LHC and OPEX each went down as well, and so we're down to 4 teams. It's actually FTR dangerously low on health. Raze is getting bombarded by bullets by Hunter, and that is it. Hunter is on a roll. Speaking of on a roll, STMZ 9 eliminations on their side. We got TMT still a 3-man squad, but 1 knockdown. NRS down to 2 players keeping themselves alive. TMT in trouble. We got 2. We got Senzo. That's all that's left. And if Senzo goes down, this is the end for their team. STMZ, I'm on feeding information as to where Senzo is, and STMZ is trying to finish the job. All right, let's just be really, really careful in this situation. We got so many players on the red, on the ground, but Senzo, this is a very delicate situation because one really stray bullet and that's it. Senzo does get flanky at first though, so they take one down with themselves. NRS potential 2 versus 2, but Criminal will not let SDMZ heal up. They're trying to put a lot of pressure, but it's a good thing Flanky managed to get healed up just in the nick of time. All right, they're gonna be eaten up by the blue zone really, really quickly. All right, we're closing in, and SDMZ's hugging the blue zone. This is really nerve-wracking. 2 versus 2. Flanky still needs to heal up. I don't think they have time to heal up. And now Flanky goes down easily. But Agent gets taken out. And oh my goodness, it's going to be NRS who will be getting that chicken dinner. NRS needed this point. They needed this chicken dinner. I saw a while ago NRS was struggling in terms of points, and now finally they're getting the break that they need. SUMG so close to getting a 3 chicken dinner, a third chicken dinner. So that was insane, but still that was a great job. NRS, congratulations once again. We got Criminal with the 3 eliminations, Toxic with 1 elimination, Lucid with 2, and A1 with 2. And so with that match rankings, we got 19 points to SDMD. They still outrank NRS and just by 1 point though. So NRS, they got 18 points, DMT with 15, Fraternity with 8, Team NOS with 7, Leon's with 6, OPEX with 5, LHU with 4, Seal 7 and Syndicate each have 2, and we have a lot of teams with at least 1 point. Unfortunately, Double O Esports with the 0 eliminations might have just been not much luck in this map. So you know what, we got 2 more maps left for tonight, so let's just chill out. Let's just take a chill pill and get as much points as possible for tonight. For our MVPs, none other than Flanky. Once again, we got the 5 eliminations and 737 damage, 1 assist, and 0 headshots. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Flanky from STMZ. Time and time again, STMZ has been proving themselves really well. We got the overall rankings. We got STMZ with the 82 points, putting a 32 point gap between them and number 2 Leon's 50. Number 3 is OPEX with 41. That's a 9-point gap between Leon's and OPEX. Number 4 is 38. And so just taking a look at the rest of the rankings, it looks like there are 3 teams that still haven't crossed the double point mark, and a lot of teams finally taking that 20-point mark. In fact, there are 3 teams with 20 points, and there's such a volatility between rank number 6 and rank number 9. Even they could catch up potentially to rank number 5, but I think Lovin's at 38 might be a little bit far off between rank number 5 and them. So that's the state of the overall rankings. I think clustering about, it's a close game between rank number 3 and rank number 4, and it's a close game between rank number 6 to rank number 9. So things will change, especially since we have 2 more maps left to go. So guys, before match number 5 is going to come about, we will be taking a short break. So guys, do not go anywhere. We'll be seeing you soon in a few minutes.
මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය. උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවාන්. මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවාන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවාන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවාන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරුගේ බොඩැන්නවාන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරුගේ බොඩැන්නවාන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරුගේ බොඩැන්නවාන්
And we are back once again. This is still Esports Contender Series Season 3 under Ooredoo Nation Gamers Land. This is PUBG once again. And we just witnessed match number 4, which is our second Erangel map for this day number 1 of the Grand Finals. And of course, we will be moving on to match number 5 as promised. And well, we'll all have an absolutely exciting time, especially since there has been so many really nice moments in the game so far. I mean, SDMG did a really riveting job. They did such a great job so far tonight. And also we're starting to see some other teams shining about, just like Lovins, Leon. They're also doing a really good job. And RS, I'm really happy to see them bouncing back from that situation. Especially in the previous map. But of course, we will be starting off immediately to another Erangel map for our next match. And so we're going to be skewing the flight path just a little bit from the previous map. So it starts off from hospital still, but it will go down to the Mills power plant instead in order to end. So this time around, the Sosnovka military base is a little bit more accessible, and especially Novorepnoye could still be a nice spot to land in. And as usual, seeing STMZ going for Jarkey or Georgia Pool, and we can see OPZ coming up next to them. We also have believe that should be I can't quite catch what the name is. And RS will be landing on Georgia Pool as well. FTR going south as usual. Game Over, however, I think this is new. Game Over will be going on to the southern southwestern part of the map. Okay. All right, let's just go ahead and keep on watching. We got a lot of clustering finally into the flight path. I was wondering where the rest of the teams are, but yes, finally we will be starting off. People will be dropping off really, really quickly. And let's see where the circle is gonna end up. It will actually be also towards the south. There's a, let's say, maybe a 40% chance this is going to end up as a Sosnovka military base late game. Just a possibility. So that's the teams they're going to be making their plans after this. But I can see something happening here. Skyforce and Team NOS landed in the school at the same time. So that just gives a lot of pressure into getting as much guns as possible. You can see the SMGs from Anisha's hand. I think this could probably still do. They're limited in terms of ammo. We got 90 ammo for their I mean, that's like a okay mid-range long range gun. Not too good, but this is the beauty of early game engagements. At least it's not just a knife, right? You gotta work with what you have. Okay, NOS. We are in this staircase. 7OT is gonna be the first casualty on this map. Genji might be coming up next. Aman does have a really decent gun to go about in this early game situation. We got 67 from NOS as well. There's so many 67s in this grand finals, but okay, Coco and 67 just hiding about. Genji finally gets finished off by Amans. The shotgun. Okay, Skyforce still full squad, closing in and trying to find the rest of the teams. Now, Coco Ahmed has an Uzi, but I saw ADBS in hand on 6-7. So, there's a chance that Skyforce should probably play it really safely. 67 already got one down with the grenade and also their guns, and 6-7 finally gets put to the ground. Anisha Toma, however, had to fall for this to be possible. So nice play from 6-7, but still, it's not going to be enough, especially since Sky has the numbers advantage to pick off the rest of their team, and now it's just going to be Coco Ahmed and this from now on. And now just Sky, they're just going to be going ahead and healing up. Now it's just trying to hunt down the last player. Now Amand, they're probably gonna be checking each building carefully. Here, DMT, they're all alone. Hunter's all alone, so I think they're doing a split resource gathering sort of situation. It's very risky, and we've seen it gone wrong several times. It looks like Syndicate will be taking this bridge right off the bat. I think they're just passing through, but they see Manco from LHC nearby, and Cloud is going to be coming in hot. Mad is going in from another angle, just making sure that Manco has not much room to go about. All right, there's information had. Mad turns around and gets this down onto the ground. Team Nos on the wild gets eliminated off, but LHC's Manco will be the first to fall on their team, I believe. And then I don't know where the rest of LHC is, but definitely Mako couldn't have been saved in this situation. But okay, Syndicates, they got their 2 eliminations in the bag, so that's a really good start to this game for themselves. I think the other elimination was maybe Leon's. I didn't quite catch what happened back there, but yes, this is the statistics that we're having right now. We do have 15 teams left, especially since Nos took an early goodbye in this particular map. And so with that, we're just gonna be chilling about 5 minutes into the game. We got about 3 minutes left to go before the stage 2 circle shows themselves. As we saw a while ago, the circle was like it had a bit of the military base. It had most of the military base, in fact, and then a little bit of the southern part of the main island. So there's a huge chance this could like turn into a military base last like late game. Could be also a bridge late game. Lots of water making things a little bit more complicated. Okay, we got a double O esports. Probably gonna run into KH, and now Kuku's just going to the boat, which is this is actually a really good idea, especially if DO will try to find a way to get to the military base safely. Okay, we got Anish. Nice vantage point up against DMT. And DMT, they're not moving freely right now. They know. They probably have some sort of information that there's Skyforce nearby. They probably heard the audio cues as well with Skyforce and Nos a while ago. And Senso, yes, they have a niche on this perspective. So they probably saw the movement a while ago, and now since I was just trying to play it as safe as possible, trying to make sure that Anish doesn't do anything funny in this situation. Now they're all chilling. We're 6 minutes in the game. Let's expect that there's probably 20 more minutes in. And so other than that, Skyforce, yes, they are in the map, but I don't know where the rest of the players are. They are 81 meters away from the edge of the Sage One circle, so they don't have to worry too much. And the military base is quite far away, but here Anish does find the car, and while they're trying to take down the car, Anish gets taken out instead. That was like low-key not a very good idea, but they didn't want a DMT to have any escape routes. But in the end, Anish will have to pay for that situation. And now Zinso happily take the one elimination that they have. Really nice instincts, really nice shots coming in from this player, but Mythic does find Cloud from Syndicate. Mod's gonna be following up as well, going right into the ground alongside with their teammate, and now there should be 2 active players of Syndicate. Cloud should be finished up by Mad Boy. Mad Boy finishes the job. Mad's gonna be coming up next, just cleaning the place up, and I think Syndicate did do a split push because I don't see anyone else from Syndicate in that immediate vicinity. Okay, we can find the last 2. They are in the same car. Hunter's trying to hunt them down, trying to take down their tires, but I don't think that's gonna be happening just anytime soon. Hunter takes their buggy with themselves, and now they're gonna be going ahead and try to give the chase. Sky Toma does get taken out by Mamoon. I believe this is DO. Amans fights Mamoon, however, that's his revenge knockdown. Don't see a direct kill from DMT, not DO, DMT rather. So they're giving the chase. Mamoon is right underground, crawling, and Amans finishes them off. Skyforce down to their last player. You can see 2 on the red in this situation. Fisherman, they're trying to fish this man. Grenade trying to finish the job, and as 897 is finished off, Sky Toma is going to be following up, and Amans, a grenade hit, and Hunter takes that elimination for themselves, making this 4 eliminations for DMT already, and that is the second wipeout for this match number 5. So we got 14 teams left. We got 51 players left remaining. We got 9 minutes left in the game. Now it's all about patience. It's all about waiting for the players to eventually run into each other. So it's all about patience right now. We're all gonna just kind of chill about. Okay. Now, okay, well now I'm just thinking now. SDMC is in trouble. What's happening? Okay, NRS. They're closing in. There's one down on the side of SDMZ. 9 gets finished up by Criminal. Okay, we're just settling in, and NRS is just trying to find a footing, trying to find a really nice angle up against SDMZ. But Agent will be following up. They'll be going right into the ground. Toxic finds Agent, finishes the job. That's 2 down on the side of SDMZ. NRS taking the 2 of me. Boyfriend is also. Amon might be next, but we got Alwan trying to give the chase to take down Amon's car, but it's just getting a little bit hard to hit the hay bale. No, this is not looking good. They lost a little bit of time. SDMZ has some chance to get away on their getaway car. Amon in hand, they're going to be falling right onto the ground. Toby following up as well. Toby gets finished off. 7 might be in trouble. Oh my goodness. Firut, nice job finishing the job, and that is it. Solid goes down alongside with the rest of E2S7. No second chances this time around. Now we're down to 45 players and 13 teams remaining. Surprisingly, this is going quite fast despite the fact that this is just an Erangel map, and there's a lot of places to go about. But 10 minutes into the game with 13 teams left, 45 players left remaining. That's like shaving down 19 players, I think, within 11 minutes of the game. They're going quite fast. They're getting really aggressive, and they want those elimination points. And dare I say, this is like Rondo level energy. Maybe like 50% Rondo energy, but I've seen some Rondo maps that are less aggressive than this actually, which is insane. Okay, we got Maito. They have some sights from a distance. I can't quite catch what logo that is, but they're giving the chase. They're trying to give the bullets come in. And Lovins, they're taking control over. Actually, it's just Maito that's trying to take control over this building. Slowly gonna be climbing down. I think this is physically possible. I mean, this is just a side comment, but I like the structure of that bridge. I don't know if you can like get your grip on, but of course, let's go ahead and watch out for KH Esports. There's Leon's nearby. We got 3 eliminations already for KH. It's a really good start. Milta is getting eaten up by the blue zone, by the stage 2 blue zone, so they can't stay there. This is mostly turning into a southern circle, a southern play zone. Leons, they have control over the bridge. KH might get gate kept in this situation unless they go for the boats instead. Okay, just scouting, just watching out, trying to look for any stray movements. Barry has already been lost. And so Leon's is down to a 3-man squad. I can see Kali trying to shoot at something. I don't know what though. I can't see anything. But okay, we got our circle in. It will really be a Sosnovka military base last circle then. So there's already several teams that settle in. And that circle will close in and potentially there's a lot of teams that will have to move, especially those on the western part of this circle. And lucky for this pink team, I can't quite remember which one's the pink team, but this pink team, they're already settled in nicely on the bridge. I don't know if the rest of the teams will risk trying to pass by the toll bridge. That is what we see right now. But OPZ Ezio finds a chubby from FTR. Nani finishes the job, however. OPZ gets the 1 elimination already. Good start. And then OPZ, they're gatekeeping the bridge. They picked the wrong bridge, unfortunately, to gatekeep because the other bridge is the one that's getting favored by the game. So they have to keep on moving. They do have a minute left to go. It's still stage 3 circle. They could tank it if they have a lot of resources, but I don't think a lot of players will try to go for the left bridge anymore. So OPZ can wait there for maybe a minute or so, and then they have to move. And so with that, like Leon's Eddie does find DMT Hunter, and Hunter gets finished off as well. So we have Zenzo and Fisherman should be the last people standing on GMT. They're making their move. I don't know where though. Milta can't be is inaccessible now, so I think they're just hugging the play zone as of this moment, making sure that they don't have to watch behind their back, knowing that the blue zone will protect them at least. So we're still up to 13 teams. We're actually down to 13 teams 14 minutes into the game. More or less, it's a little bit fast in terms of pace. We got the play zone. It's going to be restricting and half a minute left to go. Leons will probably have to move forward into the bridge. And so the bridge that they have once been gatekeeping, and now they could be gatekept from the other side because they chose to mostly stay towards the main island. But okay, let's just keep on watching is to see what where the rest of the teams are actually. And I'm kind of like curious because there's a lot of teams that have been really quiet as of this moment. I don't think I've seen Game Over yet, or DO or OPZ. I mean, I saw OPZ. Yes, we did see the one elimination, but other than that, the rest have been quite silent. There's only a lot of noise from the teams that we saw a while ago, and then the rest they're kind of biding their time. But okay, OPZ did spot Fisherman, and Fisherman's taking a lot of damage from that stage 3 circle. They have like less than a minute left to go before that damage becomes really, really painful. They're going into the blue zone to try to get away from this situation, but OPZ, they're also daring to chase DMC into the void and try to get that elimination point for themselves. Okay, Zenzo should be running into IC really soon, so this should be standoff between the two teams. Zenzo, they're giving the bullets in, but it's not going to be hitting IC just yet. So, okay, we're seeing a GTA sort of chase at this moment. Zenzo at a distance, IC could possibly take this, and Zenzo is dangerously low on health, so if it's not the blue zone, I will take him. IC should probably get there really, really fast. EBS in hand. Come on, they didn't even dare to go in. Fisherman will be trying to save Zenzo, but where's this guy going? Is this guy gonna disengage? Is this guy just trying to come in with their car, try to stay as safely as possible? But look at this, a kilometer away from this place. That's where the next blue zone is going to be. OPZ is just trying to finish the job. One good grenade. We should be seeing the end of Zenzo, and that is it. Fisherman's the last person standing on DMT. But in the end, OPZ, I'm a little bit worried because they are a kilometer away from the safe zone, from the play zone. We got a lot of damage from a stage 4 circle, so they should have their healing game strong. They took the risk. They had the 1 point for themselves. Let's see if they can follow through with the risk that they took. They are going to be expending a lot of resources for this, but okay, NRS is trying to gatekeep this, but in the end, NRS is the one that's going to be ran over rather by the people that they're trying to gatekeep. This is not a good situation. NRS is about to lose a couple of their players. Criminal still needs to be revived, but I think they still have this in the bag. Lucid unfortunately says goodbye a little bit early on, and OPZ is going to be using this bridge. I believe they could be using this bridge. They're coming about. NRS is there, and Vince is waiting at the other end of the bridge, and it looks like OPC they're already struggling from their risk going into the blue zone for so long, and look at them getting gunned down one after the other. White coming in following up next, and OPZ should have one last person. That was not a good idea giving the chase to Zenzo. Look at this basically domino effect that's happening at this moment in time. But surprisingly, OPZ, they're not completely wiped out just yet. There's another team that might be passing through. That's SDMZ's flanking coming in like a storm. Got them F1 sort of situation happening happening here. They're trying to get away from the crossfire as fast as possible. Meanwhile, OPZ, they're still in trouble. They lost most of their players already. Game over. Might be in trouble. Yep, there we have it. Game over. It's should be over for them. No, no, it was almost over. I was wondering what happened. Game over, and it looks like they were actually just hinging on like a thread, but in the end, yes, they did lose a lot of their players. And speaking of loss, there's a lot of teams that got picked off just now. We got 8 teams left, and Nani gets found out, and I think that's the end for OPZ as well. And so with that, Lovin's 7x gets taken out by the play zone as well. Solely is gonna be following up. What is happening over here? Are they staying in the blue zone, risking their lives just for a little bit of elimination points? OPX is going to be following through as well. Where are they? They are losing a lot of players, and they did get picked off as well. Here, Leons versus LHG, but they took a lot of damage. Where is that coming from? Is that from Leons? Is that from game over from a distance? Or is that another player, another third party that's happening here? Okay, we got TO and FTR going up against each other. Nothing's trying to get those shots in up against Susu's car, but Susu's gonna be backing away from that building. There's some smokes in, so there's some blind shots happening at this moment in time. TMT, by the way, still the last person standing. Fisherman is a solo player, so you can expect that Fisherman will probably try to play it as safe as possible, but Anu finds a stray car trying to mountain goat their way to this building. This is a mountain. To this mountain over here. Their car is kaput. That car is covered up, and now Odin goes right into the ground with no escape route possible. Fisherman finally gets found out by DO's Achu, and that is it. We have one last team left, and we got 6 teams and 15 players left to go for 20, almost 21 minutes in. Leon's just gonna be tiptoeing their way into the play zone. Susu gets spotted through the smokes, and that's some nice shots coming in from Eddie. Some nice blind shots coming in. I don't know if DO can still go ahead and give the revive that they need. There's 2 players from DO from a distance trying to save their player Susu. They have a vehicle in. They could probably like give them some cover in, but bruising from another angle, shoot them down. That's 2 different angles, and that may be a little bit more complicated for DO as of this moment. Okay, we got nothing trying to get the crosshairs in, but DO is doing their very best to hide through the angles. There's bullets flying about, but the bullets and it's absolutely insane that DO might be coming up next. It might be a little bit of a trouble as of this situation. We got Syndicate, we got 2 players, we got Leons with 3, FTR coming up with 3 as well. We got DO from now on, and now that Susu has been finished off, still 10 players left remaining with 4 teams. 2 minutes into game. Kali with the sprays on indiscriminately at whoever is moving from that distance. If nothing took a bit of damage, but where is that damage coming from? They couldn't follow through. They couldn't put any more connections up against nothing. But there's Dioju. Dioju is holding on to dear life alongside with the last player of the team. Bruzy goes down into the ground. Reezy, nothing still up. Let's see if they can carry their team. Kuku goes out as well. Nothing coming up. Ray's last person standing on their team. We got Syndicate, still a duo, still healthy, but only 3 eliminations so far, and so they're gonna be going ahead and going prone. Ayu is going right into the ground. Took a bit of damage back there, some connections, but now we're just going to be smoking out and trying to heal up really quickly. Abruzzi gets taken by the play zone. Bogobear comes in, sees Race, doesn't really follow through though because there's Kali to worry about as well. Bogobear choosing to defend themselves first up against Kali, and Kali backs away. Okay, we can see like a little bit of like a thinking that's happening. So if Pokemon puts a little bit more bullets in that thing, that might explode actually. But IU over here, they have to worry about 2 players from Neon spot. Kali goes right into the ground, and that's Bogobit taking that elimination for themselves. And now we have the grenade battle between Anu and Bogobit. Alright, Anu's gonna be throwing the first grenade, but Bogobit takes a lot of damage from that. That's a nice throw. That's a nice trajectory that we saw from Anu over there. And Anu Nice shots. Bogobe finally gets finished off as well. So we have two solo players. That's Syndicate and Fraternity. Leon's, however, Eddie takes down IU from Syndicate, and that's his it for Syndicate. Now we're down to two last teams. That's two players from Leon's duo and FTR. Last person standing. Where is Raze? Raze is in their black card. They're going right about, but they are within the play zone. So that's one less thing to worry about. Just a little bit of an angle change. Anu spots them, spots the raises he goes Anu hit the tree. Oh my goodness. I think this is the nerves, but in the end Eddie does find a really nice angle to go up against the Rays, and Leon snags the winner chicken dinner. They had the numbers advantage. They could get to raise from a different angle, and they did. They snagged that chance, and they got the chicken dinner for themselves. Ano gets 5 eliminations. Eddie has 7 eliminations, and Kali has 1. Barry has 0. I think this guy got picked up a little bit early on, so they couldn't get a chance to shine. But still, congratulations to Leons. You're doing a really great job. Leons is already one of the top teams in this lineup, in this grand finals. In fact, in this tournament. So the fact that they're getting finally the chicken dinner that they deserved alongside 13 elimination points is just amazing to watch. So congratulations once again to Leon's 23 total points. We got number 2. Fraternity has 9 points, and that ties up with Syndicate with 9 points as well. Double O Esports has 6. LHG has 6. Lovitz has 6. TMT and NRS and Skyforce actually all have 5 points. Game Over and KH each have 4. OPEX has 3. The OPZ Esports has 2. SDMZ has 1. Unfortunately, CL7 and Team NOS have 0 points for this time around, for this match. And so there should be one last chance for tonight. And the teams have to step up if they want to see themselves shooting up the overall rankings. But the MVP for this match will be Eddie from Leon's. We got 7 eliminations. We got 968 damage, 3 assists, and 2 headshots. And so that's, ladies and gentlemen, decent amount of damage, almost crossing the 1,000-point mark. And of course, the 7 eliminations, definitely something to look forward to. And so with that was 5 matches done and dusted. We still have SDMZ at top, 83 total points, and slowly but surely putting a lot of pressure up against the other teams. But slowly but surely, also Leon's is catching up. They're only 10 points away from SDMZ this time. Number 3 is Lovins with 44, tying up with OPEX at 44. And after that, that's Skyforce with a drop by 14 points to 13. At number 5. And so with that, that's it for our match number 5. We should have one last match, and before that one last match, we will be taking a short break as usual. So guys, do not go anywhere. We'll see you soon in a few minutes.
මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවන් මුළි දුනියෙන් දිවෙහි රාජ්‍ය උරීදුගේ එම්ෆෑසා මෙදුරිකෝ පේපෑල්ගේ හිතුමේ මිහාරු ලිබඩැන්නවන්
Finally, we are in the last leg of our Ordination Gamersland Esports Contender Series Season 3. Guys, we are still in the grand finals and we are still on day 1. But the good thing is, we are at match number 6, and I think things have been developing really, really nicely. We just witnessed 5 matches, and basically, SCMG has shot themselves all the way to 80 plus points. It's just a huge like start. It's just an explosive start, setting the bar for everyone else. And of course, the rest of the teams, they're climbing up steadily as well. We got Lovins going a really good job. There's Leons, there's NRS, there's also they're steadily climbing, Syndicate, etc. There's so many teams that are doing really well, making them lame for themselves on this grand finals. And so the question is, which of these teams are going to get the chicken dinner for this final Miramar map for tonight? And so this is the final map for day number 1. We got 2 more days after this. So the teams, like, basically there's a little bit more pressure this time around. You can't just say, this is still the first map, this is still the second map. Nope, this is already the 6th map. We're deep into the grand finals already, and you have to start taking this seriously. You have to start farming these elimination points. You have to start farming this placement points. And so with that, we're going to be starting off with our flight path. It's about south of Los Leones, going all the way to the ruins. Actually, the ruins is very much accessible this time. So I don't know if there are any teams that want to go there. Sometimes I see teams land on the ruins. It's really far from the center, so there's a huge chance that they'll have trouble rotating later on. But for teams that like going at the edge of the map, then maybe it's possible. I don't see SDMZ yet, so let's see if SDMZ will dare try to go to the ruins. But yes, we're already seeing game over and landing on Puerto, so there could be a possibility that there might be an early game engagement in that area. We haven't lost Leones. There should be 2 teams. I see I can't quite read what the name is, but it is one of the brown name teams, and we also have NRS. But our circle unfortunately will be going all the way up to the northeastern part. That's gonna be like the midpoint might be the space east of Hacienda del Patron, near Truck Stop and El Azahar, I believe. I think it's more accurate to say the western part of El Azahar probably is the midpoint of that. And there are several teams that's already running into, like, trying to get into the circle first things first. And it looks like no one's going too far north. And SDMZ did land into El Pozo. Even they wouldn't risk going to ruins that much. It's just way too far. And it's a good thing because the circle is quite in the Miramar center as well. Like, more or less a little skewed, but it's not perfect center, but it's still quite in the center. But here, FTR, let's keep our eyes peeled because Toma, I don't know what Toma is doing here and where the rest of their teammates are, but this is fraternity. This is fraternity territory right now. Fraternity has the control over this, but looks like Abruzzi does get taken by Toma. However, now Brucey actually got finished off as well, so Thomas just a slightly bit faster than Mamba in this situation. The rest of FTR is actually here. So, well, Toma comes in, guns blazing, takes down the players from FTR, and now they're already down by 1 play. But Brucey does have 1 elimination as well. So Sky lost 1, and then we got the revenge kill from Toma. So yep, it's that's probably why there was a split push in both teams. Now I'm seeing the picture. Now I'm seeing the real picture, though, the real picture that's been happening here. But here, game over. They could be going up against DO as well, as we saw a while ago. There was a potential for an early game engagement. So let's keep our eyes peeled. Over here, let's just peek at the guns, at the grenades. Nice armor. 3 grenades, 4, 6, 7. but you'll have to have a really nice angle up against game over in order to use that. Okay, we got spiders. Managed to snipe down Ju from DO. So Ju is dangerously low on health. I think a couple of seconds left to go. Ju's gotta be saying goodbye. This is gonna be the first casualty. Oh, Cuckoo was so close, but there's just too much damage done. It was hard to bounce back from that, but okay. One last person on DO, so it's just gonna be Cuckoo, 6-7, and Susu, which was really a shame. Drew could have been saved, but there was just a couple of seconds that couldn't quite be so crucial. But okay, just looking at the leaderboard, there are a couple of pickoffs already. Skyforce lost one player, FTR lost two, NDO we just witnessed lost one player as well. So Spider still in the same area. Rio Day going away though, going past the town. I don't know if you can call this a town, and going about northwestern part of the situation. But here Toma does find Race. Toma is soloing these players from FTR. Hold on, what is this guy doing? This guy is mad. This guy is mad that their one of their players got picked off. So they're going haywire, trying to hunt the rest of them down. Toma takes out Rays all the while, finishes them off. So that is a third casualty of FTR, but nothing finds Toma, and I think Toma's in trouble because if I last saw what's happening in that situation, Sky was like far off, but it looks like actually Sky, they're rotating in, and finally they're ganging up on FTR, and FTR loses their place in this Miramar map. They'll have an early good night's sleep tonight, and the rest of the 15 teams, they'll have to work extra harder to try to survive in this map. We got maybe 20 minutes left to go, so we're all just gonna chill. I'm gonna say maybe in the 15-minute mark we might be seeing like the game pace a little faster than this, because as of this moment I know the teams are trying to play it safe, and we still have like what 2.5 minutes left to go on this stage 1 circle before we see stage 2. We have a kilometer ish left to go from this area on, so I guess they could stay here and have a standoff until maybe stage 3 of the circle, but other than that, they can't stay here forever. And so that's exactly what's happening. They're kind of just shooting about, still don't have the really good loadout, so they have to get this coming. They have to get this going really, really soon, because they can't stay here in this situation for too long. They have to gather resources. They have to match up to the rest of the map, to the rest of the teams who are comfortably just gathering resources without having to worry about another team lurking about. So with that, kind of just chilling. Let's just go ahead and watch out for game over, because it looks like they're making the move. Okay, Toma fights E2S7 solid also. What is Toma? What did Toma drink in the break? Did they get like a energy drink in real life? And all of a sudden Toma is just guns blazing, trying to get knockout after knockout, kill after kill. And finally the stage 1 circle goes ahead and engulfs this area with game over and DO. Now once again, as long as they have the healing kits, they can actually tank this damage. And so it's up to these two teams whether or not they're going to draw this out a little bit more, or they're finally going to make their move. So it looks like Game Over is the more proactive one. They are being really methodical of, however, about positioning themselves. They're making sure the buildings aren't being occupied. They're not walking right into the open just like that. But okay, we got an NRS versus Syndicate as well. And China's going right into the open. I think 6-7 is over there. I don't know where the rest of DO is from this angle on. I can't quite catch that. But okay, China is dangerously out in the open. But over here, NRS is also going up against Syndicate. Criminal have their eyes open. Syndicate, I think they're going through the blue zone in order to try to get another angle, try to get away from NRS, and NRS is bombarding them. NRS already took two players from Syndicate, and so Syndicate's dangerously on the numbers disadvantage, and so they're trying to disengage from the situation, especially since this blue zone is definitely not in their favor here in Los Leones. We still got 15 teams and 54 players left remaining. We're still 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes into the game. We got 2 minutes into the stage 2 circle before it starts moving. Now, game over and DO, they are 2 kilometers away from this next play zone. They can't stay here too long. Look at Chana tanking a lot of damage, and to think that they only have a healing kit left and 15 bandages left remaining, which is okay if you don't mind that once you arrive in the play zone, you're pretty much like out of resources, which is not a good thing to have. Rio Day does find one from DO, however, and so there should be one last person left on DO and double O. Game over, comfortably getting the 3 eliminations for themselves, wiping the floor clean off of double O. So with that, we're going to be watching out for the rest of the teams. It looks like Team NOS and OPZ are actually nearby, so there's a possibility that we might find an engagement here. But actually, NOS is preoccupied with STMZ. Aman's going to be going right into the ground. There's another one of the players in STMZ that got knocked out, but NOS is also losing their players. One knockdown so far. Naeem putting the smokes in and trying to see if they can make a repositioning from the hay bales. Okay, crosshairs out. Let's see if we can get an angle up against NOS. It looks like Genji's trying to revive their teammate, but Naeem's definitely not gonna make that happen. He's not gonna allow that to happen. So we have the 6x scope trying to see if we can get an angle in through the smokes. A little bit less on the visibility, but still we're doing what we can. Flanky still needs to be saved, by the way. I think Flanky is slowly trying to crawl into safety, and I believe it's gonna be Agent that's going to try and save them. Okay, I don't know what's happening over here. The Agent's over there getting shot at by NOS, however. The Agent took a bit of damage, another half health, so they have to save themselves first. So Naeem's nearby. Flanky I think could still be saved. Let's see if we can save Flanky. We're just maneuvering the car. Oh no, Flanky goes down. 6-7 manages to finish them off. Agent's just looking for another angle to try to get NOS, and on NOS, Genji goes right into the ground. Naeem finds the angle that they need, but Naeem also gets shot down from LV and third partying this situation here inside Hacienda del Patron. This was supposed to be SDMD versus NOS, but Elan joins in and Agent gets spotted. Naeem still needs to be saved as well, so this is not looking good for SDMZ. This situation is not looking good for SDMZ. NOS had like 2 eliminations and they took down 2 players from SDMZ, and now Lovins is helping them out. Elan closing in, trying to finish the job. I don't think they know that Naeem. Maybe they know Naeem is there, but it's just too risky to try to stay there in that situation. But okay, Naeem finally gets finished off, and we got NOS taking OPZ as well. So there is a 4th party as well. This situation, Extend needs to be revived. ICTY and Nani still out there, out in the open. We got the vehicles in, and so that's going to be helping out quite a lot. But still, NOS is going in great. They have the momentum. They have the slight momentum of the 2 eliminations up against SDMZ, and SDMZ gets wiped out as well. So, solely from Lovins finds one from NOS. 6-7 needs to get the revive. And we have Coco Ahmed right out in the open, finishing the job. OPZ takes 1. That's going to be X10. It's going to be saying goodbye. Now that's a 4 eliminations. Genji finds DMT Hunter, finishes them off as well. NOS is on a roll. They definitely need these points. They're still at rank number 50, but steadily they're having a really nice game. But Coco Ahmed, as I was saying, why get the revenge kill up against Team NOS? And 6-7 might be following up. Lovin solely finds 6-7, finishes them. Actually, it's DMT's Zenzo that finishes them. So NOS had their time. They had their fun. But now Nos is down to reduce to one last player. There's just too many angry teams at them and too many teams wanting their revenge. And Zenzo puts the last bullet in. Genji goes down alongside the rest of Team Nos, and now it's good night to them as well. We're down to 13 teams, 40 players left remaining. We got 13 minutes in the clock as of this moment. Now it's OPZ versus LVN, the two third parties going up against each other. And Soli's just sidestepping all of this. 1 versus 1. We got Soli going right into the ground and Nani finishing the job just like that. And that's one elimination on the side of OPZ. But at what cost? They got 3 eliminations, but 2 losses as well. Maito's cooking up the grenade. Nani has their guns in. They're gonna be ignoring that grenade. Took a bit of damage from the splash damage. Where is that bullets coming from? Where are those bullets coming from? Just a sidestep. Maito trying to finish the job, and that's exactly what's gonna be happening. Nani falls down. Maito finishes it. Get the sprays on end, and that is it. 3 eliminations for Lovins, but White is still out there. 7X is nearby. White could be trying to finish the job. White finally gets taken down by Elon, and that is it. We have another whole casualty. Lovins still alive, however. It's gonna be another team that got wiped out. I believe it could be FTROPZ, and DO comes up next as well. Game over. I think they finally finished the job with this situation, and actually this is stage 3, so they could not stay in Porto for too long. And here we have KH Esports. They're gonna be moving in, and there is an RS in the vicinity. There's also LHC towards the northeastern part, and they are shooting towards north, so there should be another team there. So it's a little bit messy in this area, and this is definitely something that we should be looking forward to, because once the teams cluster about, that's where all the excitement is. We're gonna be seeing a lot of eliminations, and we're gonna be seeing, actually this is like an open field, super open field. I'm not seeing a lot of buildings except for this one. It's just like the bungalows, the first floors. But okay, Scorpio is gonna be climbing this place. There's LHC on the other side. There's TMT towards the northwestern position. Okay, very, very careful here. LHT has a car, so they could have information. But okay, there we have it. We have Manko very, very easily shot at, but Scorpio couldn't quite finish the job, and the car is doing its job of protecting Manko, but that car is smoking hot and not in a good way. Fishman and Mamon, they're gonna be chilling here, and there is Mad Boy nearby. And you can see everyone is trying to be as quiet as possible. Don't want to give away too much information and risk getting shot at. NRS at a distance, and now people are taking their positions. Shafu finds a car, tries to see if there is some sort of movement. KH are also nearby. LHC, Mad Boy is near. And Fruity is making their way. They'll just hide here in the building, trying to see if LHC will try to initiate a fight. This is a potential 4 versus 4 versus 1. Fruity is very dangerously trying to go in the front lines, and this is probably not a good idea, especially if KH is way too far off. But here LHC managed to get drawn out. Perute is gonna take the brunt of the damage, sidestepping, and surprisingly gets one down before Perute gets downed as well. But Kaiki is coming in, not without Manko going right into the ground. Mythic's gonna be following up, and that's 1, that's 2, and 2 eliminations on the side of KH Esports. Perute does need to be saved, and surprisingly Perute is still surviving. Alright, we got the 3rd confirmation. Manko is gonna be going right now, and Aiki taking that mission for themselves. Perute gets saved. Maito finds OPX Hunter. I think that's another part of the map, but TMT coming in as the 3rd party. 2 players on their side. I'm not sure where the 3rd is, but KH, there's still guns blazing. They have expended a little bit of resources, but this is gonna make things interesting. OPX is also gonna be 4th partying this situation, and KH Esports still trying to get their bearings out, and they lost a lot of resources. And I'm seeing 0 grenades in this part, and I think they have one more Molotov here. Scorpio takes a bit of damage from from that explosion. It might have been a stray grenade. All right, Scorpio throws in. I don't know if it's gonna connect, but Fisherman is inside of this building. Ferrucci does have a little bit of information from this. Okay, Scorpio throws in the grenade. Molotov's still burning a lot. It's not gonna be too safe to try to go in. Step out. Visibility is bad, especially with the smokes, but the audio cues are helping out Scorpio quite a lot. Alright, Scorpio, you can do this. You can blind shot this. The smokes are up. Bit of damage from the bullets. That's giving away information. Ferrote has been knocked down again. Fisherman finally goes down by the hands of Zenzo's own grenade. That's their own teammate. Goodness me, watch this happen here. That guy is probably yelling at their teammate right now. There's too much nerves happening. Senzo goes down, and now it's all that's left is to finish off a Senzo, and that's it. GMT has one last player standing. I don't know where this guy is. But he's out of this mini map at least. I'm not seeing the last person from GMT anywhere. But okay, we got a Game Over Esports. They managed to get away from the southeastern part of the map, made their way all the way here to the hotspot, to the danger zone. China is gonna go out right into the open. There's a lot of smokes coming about. Syndicate's mad is nearby. And then we have Scorpio finding Skies NSET97 and gets finished off as well. So Aman is gonna be the last person in Skyforce. KH still a full squad and thriving. OPX unknown, taken out by Maito. Now there's a lot of smokes. And that's a cue that there's a lot of human life coming about. But okay, Aman is inside. Is about to deal with a 4-man full squad. And Aman takes a lot of damage, but KH is bombarding him. You know, this is surprising that Aman didn't get those bullets connected to their bodies for so long. But okay, that is one more team down. And now we're down to 9 teams. Lovin's Maito on this elevation. Really nice vantage point to both collect information and get some shots in from the teams from below. Okay, we got Ojin from LHT inside of that shack. Kali gets taken down by NRS Criminal. Elon cooking up that grenade. Odin might be fighting back with their own grenade. Elon almost got taken out from that. It's a good thing they sidestepped. Okay, Odin still inside, healing up, and Elan's also doing the same thing. And Maito is nearby. Maito actually manages to get Odin through a gun, so I think it's a really good shot through the windows. And that is it for LHT. Here, Lucid gets Leon's Cali. Criminal gets taken out by Eddie, however, so that's a trade for trade, 1-for-1 trade between 2 teams. Game over. Let's watch out for what there's happenings over here, because Rio, they just got finished off, and Chana's the last person standing through the staircase, and Chana is still alive. Was that still alive? No, actually that was just a little bit of a glitch, and it was actually a Leon's that came out really nicely. Eddie's still alive, and Levin's is also 2 people standing. Leon's 1 person standing. OPX with 2, Syndicate 1, DMT solo player, NRS and KH are the 2 teams with still a full squad. They have a huge chance of getting the chicken dinner. But then again, as we see time and time again, it's not a guaranteed that those 2 teams are the only teams that would possibly get the chicken dinner. We have seen so many clutches that I'm not even surprised anymore. So okay, we got Elan takes out Mamoon. We got 1 elimination in, and so we're down to 6 teams. We're cutting down the competition. KH is still full squad, and they have such a great momentum. We got 10 eliminations already, but Kaiki walks right into a grenade. Furute is gonna be another casualty to that situation. Okay, there's a 3rd knockdown. Scorpio should be the last person standing, but Topex, Rain, come on, Scorpio is on fire. Okay, 1 versus 1, sidestepping here. Scorpio, come on, taking a bit of damage, and the blue zone is just putting a lot of pressure, but still, ouch, that was so close. Criminal third party this situation. You would have known Scorpio was probably really so happy they got away with that 2 versus 1, but NRS third party that says no way. I'm still here, remember? And so they steal that kill while Scorpio's unfortunately still celebrating. But over here we got Lovin's 2 versus Toxic within the smokes. Grenade action. Maito cooks it up. I think Toxic took. I don't know if Toxic took any damage from that, but Elon is also trying to peek out, and Elon took a bit of damage. Toxic also takes damage, but it's Elon who will be getting knocked out first. And now this is 3 versus 1. Maito still in charge, but Elon will be finished off. Maito will finished off as well, and that is it. It's gonna be 4 versus 1. Leon versus NRS, and Eddie gets spotted. Lucid easily ends the game, snags that chicken dinner for NRS once again. Winner chicken dinner. Congratulations to NRS. They have been so quiet in the first few maps, but right now I'm so proud to see them shining once again, taking that winner chicken dinner. These are our team stats. We got the three eliminations from Criminal. We got 2 eliminations from Lucid. Alwan and Alwan has 0 and Toxic has 2 eliminations. Alwan and Toxic each have around 200 damage, Criminal almost 200, and Lucid has 520. So it's a decent amount of damage done, contributed by each player from LNN Night Raiders. So NRS did a really great job. They got the 17 points from this match, but coming up second is KH Esports, very, very close with 16 total points, thanks to their 12 eliminations. Number 3 is Lovins with the 13, Double O OPEX with 8, Game Over Esports with 8, Leon 7, Scafor 6, DMT, OPZ, and NOS with 4. Syndicate has 3, Fraternity has 1. We got 4 teams. Unfortunately, that went home with 0 points on the very final map for tonight. So congratulations once again to NRS for a job well done. We got our MVP, which is Maito from Lovins. They got the 5 eliminations, but 770 damage, which is such a great job coming in from a single player from one team. And it's a really great job done. Congratulations once again to NRS, and also congratulations to Maito from Levins for getting this 5 eliminations for the team. It's definitely going to help out quite a lot in the leaderboards later on. So job well done to all the participating teams. All 16 teams did such a great job on the first day of our grand finals. And so the competition is tight. There's so many good teams vying for this grand finals. And as you can see, SDMZ Esports manages to defend their number 1 rank for a couple of maps already, but number 2 is actually Leon's with 80 points. There's 3 points away from SDMZ. Number 3 is Lovins with 57, which is a huge drop. Number 4 is OPEX with 52, NRS with 42, climbing steadily. And to think that NRS was like in the second half of the table for like the first few maps. And so I'm really happy to see them getting the second chicken dinner for tonight in the first 6 matches of this grand finals. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the overall rankings for our day number 1 of our grand finals, and our MVP for today will be Eddie from Leon's with 25 eliminations, 3,445 damage dealt, damage taken in 1,907, and assists of 8 with headshots of 6. This is a cumulation of 6 different matches, and so this is a decent amount of eliminations, actually 25 within 6 matches. That is such a great performance coming in from just a single player, which is Leon's Eddie. It's no wonder that Leon's is in the top 3. So guys, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the day number 1 of the grand finals of Ooredoo Nation Gamerstan's Esports Contender Series Season 3 for PUBG Mobile. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do come back tomorrow around the same time for our day number 2. So until then, we'll be seeing you soon, and goodbye for now.